I think effectively Wild Super Chats broke the stream completely. Let's try and fix it by doing a reset. Go on, Brian. Go on, Brian. Oh. Oh, we fixed it though. It stopped. It was just constantly looping. Apparently, if you do a super chat before... I don't know why I'm telling you this because you do it every fucking stream now. Apparently, if you do a super chat before I actually launch the stream with the countdown, it just constantly loops the explosion round and round and round. Who knew? That's a thing I just found. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this early edition of 40k After Dark, because in 10 minutes' time, James Workshop are doing a New Year reveal stream, and I guess it's... Would you classify it still as New Year on the 16th of January? I mean, it kind of is. It's their first major event. So there's a reveal show to be done, and I figured, well, it makes sense, right? If there's a reveal show to do and it's on a time when we are awake and alive, because I've whinged about this so much, I can't then not do a watch along, because I whinge about when they do the show and they've done it now at the right kind of time. Okay, so I figured we'd do it tonight. So we're gonna jump into their stream in about 10 minutes time. I'd love to know if you guys have got hopes, wishes, wants. Stick them on a postcard before we go into the reveal show. We've got about 9 minutes. Once the reveal show hits, you can still super chat and Brian will interrupt us, but I'll probably get annoyed if I can't hear what they're saying. It looks at the moment like currently members is working. So we can say thank you to Luke Pywalker for 5 and thank you to Clive the Kiwi for the 1 gifted membership. I appreciate you both. And Clive the Kiwi also sent me $5 and said, go back to the last stream. Yes, I was talking about the bottle opener that is a mortar. It is also 3D printable. Could be something for hobby house. Sounds fucking cool. I'm into it. So yeah, we're on 6 members already, you wonderful humans. I don't know if it's going to keep working or not. So it might be that it breaks and everyone needs to just send a £100 super chat to solve the problem, right? And if all 144 of you do it, amazing. Amazing. So I am having a few beverages tonight. In fact, I'm on my own this evening. Luce is out for drinks with other mums, right? So she's going to go out and have some fun and party and probably get shit-faced. Are you going to get shit-faced? Oh, right, well, I will. So I've got the leftover Stella from Christmas that got bought around by my dad. I wouldn't normally necessarily buy this, but we've got a box of it downstairs. I've bought 3 and I intend to get 3 more of them. They're there to be used, aren't they? So, you don't have your keys? Well, then you want to not be coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning, do you? There'll be a bed. Do you want a smaller set of keys? Is that why you don't want to take your big keys? Because I can give you my keys, which are smaller.
Let's hope the show isn't wank.
Facts. I can unclip my house keys here, darling, and you've got a smaller set. Thank you so much, Mordy, for the 5 gifted. Thank you, Stefan, for the 1 gifted. Thank you so much, Eb, for the 1 gifted. Thank you, Michael, for the 1 gifted. Go on, chat. Look, it's all working. So we're going to watch the show. We're going to have some beers. We're going to chill out. Look, honestly, Luce, it's that big. Well, that's that off the cards, isn't it? She said if she just come back shit-faced, she doesn't want to be looking for something tiny. I was like, well, in that path disappointment lies. I'm hoping none of the reveals derail my Nina plans. Just came from Valrak in the proper stream now. Oh, thank you, CSM Sandy. You're a hero. What a legend. Did my brain say wank rather than what? No, that's what we've worked out. If you use exactly those numbers of W's, A's, G's, and H's, he says wank. If I ever make it over to Hobby House, which I hope you do, I'll drop off a bottle of Bunratty mead. Great stuff. Sounds great. Effectively well. Thank you for 1 gifted as well. And don't worry about breaking the stream before it starts. It's just one of those weird things that we normally never have a super chat before we launch, and it happened, and I was like, it seems to be stuck in a loop. Tim, thank you for 5. Look at you lot go. Go on, chat. 100 gifted before the stream starts. Can you do it? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just oh, I've read that one already. I'm hoping I've read that one already. Okay, well, there you go. I'm up to date. I'm up to date with you all. We're ready to go. So I do have...
I like a good walk.
Do you? Okay. I have the GW stream here ready to go. So we do have this. Alex, thank you for the 1 gifted. You're a hero. And we've got the preview sat here. I don't think we need it that loud, chat. I think I also need to turn Vinny down or off. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what level we want this at. Is that too loud or too quiet for you? Oh my God, what's going on? Jet Design, thank you for the 1. Callum, thank you for 50. Fucking hell, 50 gifted memberships. Erebus, thank you for 10 gifted. I've just turned this down 3 times and it's still too loud for me. How's that sounding? Callum, thank you so much. At least gifted are working, hey? Wins. He's trying to help you hit the 100 before the stream starts. Is that too loud or is it too quiet now? Tell me, chat. Sounds good. Okay, good. As long as it sounds good, we're good. Turn it up to 11. If I turn it right up, where are we at now? If I turn it right up, it's not that bad. Maybe there. It's very epic, isn't it? Quite epic music from Games Workshop. This also instantly demonetizes me. Instant copyright strike. Okay, so this level's okay. Good, okay. Hey, Tom. How are you wonderful human being? Did you go home and cleanse yourself from playing Eldar? Chat, we're on 92 members, by the way. We're 8 members away, literally 8 members away from hitting 100 before their stream even starts.
Pray to the audio gods.
8 away. 8 away from hitting 100 before their show even starts. Hey, me dog, come here. I want it to be cool, please.
Can't wait for the Frack with Joe and Toby show.
It's going to be great. How is Tony doing? He's all right. Had a good day. He had a good day. Luke, thank you for 5 more gifted with 3 away. It might happen. I'm going to full screen this because I don't need to see the chat. I don't need to see the chat. I don't need to see the YouTube chat. There we go. Mr. the Rambo with 10. We smashed through it. 107 before the show even starts. Banging. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, Clem Fandango, for the 1 gifted. Thank you, Al Ginge, for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Liz Brandt, for 5 gifted memberships. Like, fucking hell. The fuck? How do I say that? NG Gibbers, thank you for 5 gifted. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm going to do more of these. Although if I'm this loud at 2 in the morning, she's going to tell me off. Where can we start ordering stuff off of Hobby House, Mr. D? I have no idea, Dave. I've got so much to do. I talked about it over the weekend, mate. Thank you, Adrian, for 1 gifted. You're amazing. Has Joe been away to his game of punishment with Tony? I think so, but he's got to turn up to work first, so. I've got about 15 more beers in the conservatory, Gareth, so I can get through it. Don't you worry. Dave, thank you for 5 gifted. Fucking legends. I could nick a bottle 100, I don't mind. It's easy. Greetings, you bearded god. Aw, thank you. Love you. Warhammer Nightbot didn't want me to be excited, so I came here. You can be as excited as you want here, mate. I'll chug every 100. Well, until I run out of beer. And then Luce goes, hang on a minute, I went out for a night out and I came home and you were shit-faced. Which is very, very, very realistically possible, I'll be honest. I'm in charge tonight because the wife's away. Streaming to 11? Probably not. Oh, if you keep... I tell you what, Yeston, I mean, like I said already, right? Luce is out tonight. If you keep me going, I'll keep going. I've got to sort the boys out some fucking porridge at some point, but otherwise, you know. What are we thinking, chat? We thinking good reveal or are we thinking weak reveal? Amber, thank you for the one gifted. We're on 129 members already, and they haven't started yet. I hope this leads into a beautiful intro and not just cut to presenters. Robin, thank you for 5 gifted. Go on. Liam's got such a sound voice. He could be the next Attenborough. Could listen all night. Blessed. Oh, thank you, mate. You know how everyone hates their own voice? I hate my own voice, and everyone says,
hello everybody, and welcome to this very exciting New Year Warhammer preview. I'm Adam Troke. I'm joined by my friend and colleague Eddie Eccles, and we are delighted to
the kids got supper yet.
We've got some very cool Warhammer reveals for you on the way in this preview. We have some Warhammer 40,000, some Warhammer Age of Sigmar, a little bit of Horus Heresy, some new animation to have a look at, and some Blood Bowl. So it is a packed preview with a little bit of something from every corner of Warhammer.
Fantastic. We're joined by loads of you already in the chat on both YouTube and on Twitch. Thank you for coming and spending some time with us. We're going to wait a while before we jump into the first preview so that people can continue to flood in. And it's always nice to do a little bit of,
it wasn't smooth, was it? It's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said.
Just punching into the chat. If you're in Twitch, we'll be following along. We've got some people monitoring the questions and making sure that Eddie and I get fed the right information. So let us know where you're tuning in from.
Space Marines,
while you do that,
for Eos,
maybe we can talk about what we've been doing hobby-wise.
Something for
I have been doing some hobby. Here is my latest offerings. I've been doing an Angels of Death kill team for kill team, and I've Dark Angels them up. You can see there because they come in blue plastic, and I've been adding bits from my pretty extensive Dark Angels bits box.
They look lovely.
Yeah, they're all right. They're a bit more advanced. They're all undercoated, and a couple of them are base coated.
Studio does look much better.
Well, yeah, I've not played as much kill team as I'd like, and this is my
sound. I can hear it fine.
Properly into it in the next
we'll have to have a game when you've got them all ready.
Yeah,
can you hear it fine now? I've turned it up.
We'll have fun. It'll be fun times.
That's the main thing, right? What about you, Eddie?
Well, I've been painting an even better chapter, the Space Wolves.
Top 2, I'd give you that.
Well, and I've just been painting dreadnoughts mostly. Just big dreadnoughts, little dreadnoughts, all the dreadnoughts I could find.
Are these for anything?
They are for a team event.
Guessing
for
high
Warhammer
elves for
40,000,
Blood
and
Bowl.
my contribution to the team is just loads and loads of dreadnoughts.
And why? This is Bran Redmoor's.
They are Bran Redmoor's, yeah. So I picked the angriest Space Wolves I could find. For my
Why do they bother saying Warhammer?
It would be nice to just get a sense of where you're tuning in from. We've got people tuning in from Spain and France, a bunch from the US, so welcome. Loads of people from the UK, and even here in Nottingham. And a couple, it seems, as far-flung as the upside down lands of Australia. So well done for Iron Manning.
But when the videos come, it might be too loud. We'll see.
Really lovely to have you all here. If you are tuning in from places and you want to join in the conversation online, we've got our international social media teams. You'll see them here for Facebook and Instagram. Why not drop onto those handles and join in the conversation in your own language if you like. Perfect. One of the things that we'll be doing, I mentioned previously, is we'll be keeping an eye on Twitch stream. If you want to ask a question, type the word question in block caps and then write your question afterwards, and we'll try and filter through and cover some questions about the things that we're showing to make sure that you get the answers that you need.
Yeah, we'll try and tell you all the important stuff, but there might be some things that you really, really, really want to know. And if anything like that, pop them in the questions.
Yeah, I would suggest keeping it about the releases.
Oh yeah, not just generally, not just like, how big is a blue whale, that sort of stuff.
Exactly, and there's only so much
about
Simon, thank you for 5 gifted.
Time in the world, right? We reckon we'll be here probably for the next hour and a quarter or so. It just depends how fast we talk. How much stuff there is to show, and there is a lot.
In and starting.
We've already told people what we're going to
presentation.
show. We've already done the introductions. People know how to ask questions. I think it might be time to go to
start.
our first reveal. Let's go to the grim darkness of the Dark Millennium.
I love the Huron stuff, by the way. I think it's beautiful, honestly. More Corsairs! Is that Uriel? They're bringing Prince Uriel back! Yes! Oh, that's sexy. That is sexy.
What a way to kick off the preview show with incredible releases, all themed around the Maelstrom. Eddie, how do we even start with this?
This is a fairly sizable release for Warhammer 40,000, and 2 armies are getting a lot of new plastic miniatures. Chaos Space Marines and the forces of the Aeldari. If we start on the diabolically heretical side of things,
I love that.
This is Huron Blackheart and the Masters of the Maelstrom.
Set.
We knew, of course, that Huron Blackheart was on his way. We suspected there might have been some other Corsair-looking things along with him, but we can now reveal that he is on his way as part of a character box set, not unlike the Titus box set we saw released over recent weeks, and it is a phenomenal set of miniatures, starring, of course, Huron Blackheart. We've seen this guy before a little bit, but just a reminder for those of you who might not have seen him already.
It's always nice to look at the Tyrant of Adab, the master of the Red Corsairs. There he is with his little demonic helper, the Hammer Dryer, and he's showing what happens when you go on the wrong side of a melter gun, signed courtesy of Captain Andocles of the Star Phantoms chapter. He doesn't come alone, as you mentioned. There is a swathe of
fuck is Crocodile Man? He's cool as shit, Tom, is what he is.
Look at some of those. First up would be Geryon the Corpse Master. He's the Lord Apothecary of the Red Corsairs.
Butcher Surgeon.
He was the Apothecary in the Astral Claws, the chapter that was. And he was
Butcher Surgeon or what, Tom?
Machinations to sort of play about with their gene seed and evade the gene seed tithe, which is the whole problem that kicked off the 4th Quadrant Rebellion in the first place.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, well, exactly so.
So some fun stuff about how he plays in games. Obviously, he is kind of not really got the best interest at heart of the Red Corsairs that he battles alongside. You can see a Red Corsair on the base there, probably
clutching the apron awkwardly.
Yeah, he's not going to get the medical attention that he's particularly looking for. He has a special rule basically where if a Red Corsair unit near him is at half strength, he can have a command point because he's harvesting the gene seed, and that's what he's looking for. He can also bring models back into the unit that he is in. So Huron and his retinue are a little bit more durable.
Fucking sick.
Not the battlefield
He might be my favourite new Chaos model, I'll be honest.
But definitely the one they deserve. Next up in line is Qatar Garrix, who is the headsman of the Red Corsairs. This is Huron Blackheart's personal executioner, and he comes appropriately enough from the Executioner's chapter, one of those chapters swept up in the 4th Quadrant Rebellion and part of the Badab War. He signed on permanently with Huron Blackheart after the events of that, and now serves as kind of like a warning to any Red Corsairs that might want to step out of line. His presence on the bridge of a vessel will quell even the smallest rumour of insurrection.
Yeah, I think if you turn up with the heads of the previous 7 people who had insurrections, that certainly sends a message, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
In game terms, no massive surprises that he is very good at killing enemy characters. He has precision and anti-hero on his weapons, which is pretty cool.
Nice, and he just looks incredible. 141 members, foreboding character, and enough heads 141 to send a message to anybody who wants to hear it. Next up in this retinue, and if you had Mantis Warriors in 2026 on your bingo card, congratulations. This is Garlon Soul Eater, who was once a Mantis Warriors librarian.
Sexy.
He has signed up with the Red Corsairs.
This is a great World Eaters update.
Witch, a formidable Psyker, now a Chaos Sorcerer, and he uses his powers to sort of corrupt the minds of those around him. There's stories of him sort of turning the crews of gun decks against their allies and firing salvos at supposedly friendly ships. And he's kind of like Huron's spy master and manipulates all of these sort of schemes around him.
There's a lot of schemes if you're a pirate to keep track of.
Well, I imagine so, right? He's also got a really cool helmet, and the rumour is he hasn't taken it off for more than a decade, and maybe he's hideously mutated underneath.
Could be. He's got some really tasty rules in Warhammer 40,000 as well. He has a precision psychic attack that is d6 plus 1 damage, which means you can basically pick out enemy characters in units and just take them out, basically mind wrench them out of reality.
Fantastic. Yeah, another great Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine, I suppose, within Huron's retinue. The next model is Immortal, and is the captain of the Reign of Spite. This is Captain Sargota. She was once a Imperial Navy commander from the Solar
First decent Chaos Librarian. I like the last one. I like the last
well placed within the noble houses, long lineage and dynasty behind her. She was politically outmaneuvered once she was injured, and while she was convalescing, sort of her position and station were taken from her. In revenge, she essentially orchestrated the handover of an entire naval dockyard and its ships and crews to a pirate fleet. I wonder whose.
Very piratey.
Exactly. And now she serves on one of the biggest battle cruisers in Huron's fleet, where she oversees a lot of his operations. She also joins the battlefield sometimes, which is why she's on this command air here.
Yeah, I think this is my favourite model from this box set.
It's really good.
It's really, really fun. It's like a nice characterful
she's cool,
diorama piece.
She's cool.
The thing that she's floating around on actually is something that she uses during boarding of enemy ships. So it's effectively like a mobile command dais, but she can plug it into the command stations of enemy ships once they've been boarded to take it over. So she's all in pirate.
You can imagine all the mechadendrites underneath. You can imagine them slotting into all the ports in a plundered ship, and then suddenly all of those data slates behind there come alive with all the information you need to essentially steal an entire battleship.
I like the little bird skulls on the shoulder as well. I like to imagine one of those was a parrot.
There you go. Yep, very practical. Fantastic model and really exciting addition. The next one, maybe even stranger, and a lot of people have been trying to guess what this means. They've looked at the
don't think anyone guessed right.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you did, well done.
This is a Tyrellian dog soldier known as the Enforcer.
I love this.
She is essentially the warrior that Huron sends out to hunt down those who would dissent against him, and maybe there's people naysaying his leadership or reneging on deals. And so the Enforcer hunts them down relentlessly. She'll go as far as it takes to do so, and she takes with her plunder, which is the canine-ish, canid-looking creature. That is, if you were wondering, an adolescent Barghisi. If the term Barghisi is familiar to you, that's because in Warhammer 40,000 there's a thing called the hyper-violent Barghisi, which has appeared a couple of times in our lore. This is what they look like before they are big enough to be called hyper-violent. When she first met it, it bit her arm off, which is why she's got that unusual bionic sort of fist thing that you can see there.
Yeah, space lizard men, come on!
A little hunter-killer. But she has to keep an eye on it because they're prone to spates of really rapid growth.
This is fucking sick.
And eventually it will become too big to manage.
This is fucking sick.
Rumours of Barghisi devastating entire spaceports run rife. So she will eventually have to take it to the Warhammer 40,000 equivalent of the woodshed.
Or the space farm.
Oh yeah, we're a happy ending for everybody in the grim darkness of the far future.
I think what this miniature does, in terms of telling you about the story of Huron and the Maelstrom itself, is indicating that not only have you got renegade Chaos Space Marines and humans, you also have alien pirates and bounty hunters and all the kind of ne'er-do-wells and piratical forces from the whole region gravitating towards the Maelstrom. So it's not just about Chaos Space Marines. He is the master of this enormous pirate empire within the Maelstrom.
Absolutely. Okay, the Master Execution is a bit shit, but the rest of it,
vast, and
love it.
If you want to resist the sort of oppressive regime, as they would call it, of the Imperium or other
amazing, 100%.
places, then the Maelstrom might be the place for you.
Spacism and full army GW get a grip now. Preach.
Leader.
He's fucking
Speaking of Huron Blackheart, he does not come alone. The Masters of the Maelstrom are joined by this box set. Everything you see here comes in a big box called the Lords of the Maelstrom.
There's an upgrade sprue.
It's essentially the heart of a Red Corsair's army. It's got loads of great models in it, including some brand new ones. Let's take you through what you can see in here.
Yeah, so some of these
all
of these
they're
miniatures
stunning.
will eventually be available separately. Yeah. Some of these are old miniatures with upgrade kits. Some of them are brand new miniatures. These are Raiders. They are a brand new miniature set. These are effectively the elite of the Red Corsair.
Seeing this?
They sit somewhere between Legionaries and Chosen in terms of power and hierarchy. Yep. And they are the veterans of the Barab Wars and the various conflicts within the Maelstrom. As far as in-game, they are a really useful little unit. They have infiltrate. They have 3 wounds each. They have a really respectable combat stat line. And they've also got things like melter guns and power fists and stuff that you can.
They are so really good. Look at them.
Yeah, and they're not just great in terms of game rules, but also the models are fantastic, right? This is the personification of what it means to be a renegade Chaos Space Marine. You're existing outside of the structures of the these mighty Space Marine legions. So a lot of their war gear looks scavenged, and their plate armor and so on is
God, look at it.
It's got lots of
this is Chaos Space Marines.
And enemies that they fought. It's really quite exciting to see these.
Lots of them have got pelts of wild animals.
This is Chaos Space Marines. This is what they should have always been.
There's more within this box set. Next up, you can see the Chaos Terminator squad. These are the Chaos Terminators that you already know and love if you're a Chaos Space Marine player. The difference here being they have new sculpted detail shoulder pads, which are included within this box set. So essentially, you can just tailor them to look like Red Corsairs. Obviously, Chaos Terminators are fantastic.
There's a spooky ghost in my room.
Via the medium of shipboarding actions.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of Chaos Terminators that show up in some of the Red Corsair.
I mean, these are cool, stories. But those Raiders are fucking stunning.
I think they look great in red and black as well.
It's a really striking colour scheme. Yeah, absolutely.
Red and black. I wonder who likes painting red and black.
The Legionaries. This is the same kit that you might be used to from the other Chaos Space Marine Legions. And again, there's upgrades that tailor them towards looking like Red Corsairs. So you've got these fantastic Red Corsair shoulder pads, and then you've got some other details as well. We'll show what they look like in a moment. But you've got like heads and some.
There's like ammo belts, aren't there, and trophies and that sort of stuff. There we go. That is the whole upgrade kit. So you can see there, you've got the Terminator shoulder pads. You've got the shoulder pads that fit Legionaries, but they'll also fit anything in that kind of like size of armor. If you want to have some like Raptors or something, you could do those too. You've got some really cool unhelmeted heads.
I think the heads are the most exciting.
The heads are cool. Yeah, I mean, it's all really good, isn't it? And then there's some big transfers as well. So if you want to have like Rhinos and Land Raiders and Dreadnoughts and things that have the appropriate iconography on it.
I might put some requests on these. Well, luckily we've got a shop we can sell it to you, Tom.
Do just the models that come in the set. So if you're looking to build a big Red Corsairs force, well, you'll be able to.
My God.
Right, that was all pretty exciting, but it's not done. There's also the Traitor Guardsmen. These are the exact Traitor Guardsmen you know and love. They're just in red and working for the Red Corsairs. And they kind of exemplify all of those people that flock to Huron's banner and sort of try and survive outside of the restrictions of the Astra Militarum and the Imperial.
Don't worry, Tom, you can also do Red Corsairs. I might do Red Corsairs.
And we've got one more miniature, I think.
Yeah, and so bringing up the Rhea is actually my favourite model out of this launch. I think the Reeve Captain really just hits home on what it means to be a Renegade Chaos Space Marine. Just a fantastic model. He's a multi-part kit, but the one right in the centre is the one that really gets me. Loads of detail, loads of plunder. He's picked up bits and pieces from lots of battles, and he just looks incredible. And he's quite good in the game, right?
Yeah. So there's loads of options on the kit to start with. So this is a multi-part plastic kit. You've got a choice of 2 different combat weapons. They've got different stats in the game. You've got a sword and you've got a mace. You can have a plasma pistol if you want him to have, or you can have a bolt pistol. He is a very good addition to your army. He is a Reeve Captain. So I suppose might indicate that he's either maybe a veteran of the Astral Claws, maybe one of the previous captains, or maybe someone who's risen through the ranks of the Red Corsairs.
This is fucking so good.
So he's somewhere thereabouts of Chaos Lord level in terms of his abilities. He is a little bit less fighty than a Chaos Lord, but he brings more to the table in terms of abilities that you can give to your unit. He has Infiltrate, which means that he's a great addition to some of those Red Corsair squads we talked about before. So he can be right up in the enemy's face early on in the game. He can also
this is what Chaos Space Marine should have been.
Charge into close combat.
Good.
You've got lots of stuff across the Chaos Space Marine Codex that allows you to have things like run and charge, so they stack really nicely with those. So you can get an extra point of strength, an extra point of AP, and re-rolling charges with this guy on that unit, which might be infiltrating right up in your enemy's face, which is a pretty tasty little combo.
Nice.
And worth saying as well, with all of the stuff that we've just talked through there, you can absolutely do this as a Red Corsairs army if you want. If you want to go all in for Huron Blackheart and go with the red and black of that force, you can, or you can add these into any other Chaos Space Marine army. So if you've got an existing Black Legion army and you want to sprinkle a little bit of Red Corsairs into it, or team them up with the Alpha Legion,
2026 year of chaos.
We are not even halfway done with the stuff for this Maelstrom section. We've talked about Huron and the Red Corsairs. In that video that we saw at the beginning, we saw
that's only
another
half
force.
The pirates we have.
Exactly. So let's go and look at Prince Iriel and his Eldritch Raiders. So a little bit of a lore dump for you if you're unaware. Prince Iriel is a renowned Aeldari hero. He is the saviour of Craftworld Iyanden when it was under attack from the hive fleets of the Tyranids, and really solidified his sort of place in legend. But the thing he loves is to range across the galaxy, reaving, and at the head of this army, the Eldritch Raiders. This is a box set. Everything you see on here is included within it, and we'll take you through and have a quick look at all of those things. First out of the gates are the Corsair Skyreavers.
Yeah, so this is a really useful little unit for Corsairs. You can include these in a Corsair army or in a tiny Craftworld army.
I'm not a Corsairs huge fan. I know I'm an Eldar person, chap, but I'm not a huge Corsairs fan. They're nice, though.
They come as standard with Corsair blades and shuriken pistols, which is a great little kind of combo to pick on little isolated enemy units, but you've also got the option to include quite a lot of different special weapons in the unit. So if you want to make them anti-infantry, you've got things like shredders and flamers. If you want to make them anti-tank, you can put fusion guns and stuff like that in the unit. And they've got a lot of movement abilities. They come with scout, deep strike, and a reactive move ability as standard, which means they're going to be very hard to pin down. So they've got a phenomenal kind of objective game.
Yeah, they really play into that sort of hit and withdraw.
They're sexy. I love them.
The Eldritch Raiders that makes them famous. They're also a lovely callback to some very classic Rogue Trader era artwork. If you're of a certain vintage like me, you'll recognise it, and it feels quite nice to see that sort of imagery making it into the modern Warhammer 40,000 tabletop. In a similar vein, in terms of the flexibility and the way they fight, there's another unit within this set. You'll be familiar with them if you've maybe played Kill Team over the last few years. These are the Corsair Void Reavers. So it's the same kit returned, and they'll be.
I love the Corsair kit. It's beautiful.
Tell us about the Void Reavers, if you would.
Yeah, so the Corsair Void Reavers are your kind of line Corsair infantry. That's a really flexible kit. You can build them as either a kind of battle line version or as an elite version.
I mean, they're cool. I love them. They're sexy. I think they're beautiful. So, I'm really excited by them. I'm more excited about Red Corsairs, believe it or not.
In terms of the different range of stuff you can give them. You can make them very anti-infantry or very anti-character or very good at shooting or combat or taking out tanks or whatever you need, really. The bits in the kit are really interchangeable with the other new Corsair stuff that's on its way as well.
Put it this way, right? I've had 3 boxes of Corsairs in my possessions for a long time. I've not finished building one box yet.
If you are a fan of kind of kit bashing stuff together, this is a dream, this box.
Yeah, absolutely. To lead these all into battle, there are 2 heroes within the Eldritch Raiders set, the first of which is Karseth. Karseth is a Void Dreamer. What is a Void Dreamer, I hear you ask? Well, a Void Dreamer is a type of Eldar.
I like that a lot.
And Karseth specialises in being able to sense the subtle fluctuations in the fabric of reality. So one of the gifts that Karseth has is to detect warp translations. Imagine that you come out of the warp with your fleet and you're straight into the gun sights of the Eldritch Raiders sat waiting for you. That's quite the boon for Iriel and his team. Also, Karseth specifically coordinates the efforts of the Eldritch Raiders, making sure that they're all like working in synchronicity and firing together. You can imagine them sort of speaking into the minds of the warriors and making sure that everybody's all on the same page.
Yeah, so a really useful unit in game terms as well. This is an Eldar Psyker and comes with a ranged psychic attack, like Psychic Storm style thing. But the reason that they really pop is the special rules that come with them. One of them is the ever useful ability to stop enemy units deploying within 12, so they can see the future, you can never catch them off guard sort of thing. That's great to put on your backfield objective or to just screen out large portions of the battlefield to stop things like Corsair Terminators teleporting behind you. That's not a thing that would be good for you. The other ability that they have is if you manage to hit an enemy unit with their psychic attack, all the rest of the Corsairs that fire into that unit hit with an extra point of strength. So it's a really good synergistic unit to help the rest of your Corsairs hit even harder.
Perfect. And of course, they are led by none other than Prince Iriel. Prince Iriel is the outcast Prince of Iandon, and he's returned now with his Corsair fleet to deliver his craft world from annihilation, once again by leading an army into the Maelstrom. He's equipped with the Spear of Twilight, a very famous weapon. It's extremely dangerous. He's on his eye. That bionic is called the Eye of Wrath. It's powerful in its own right. And he's a devastating combat leader as well as an actual leader of warriors.
Yeah, so a really, a phenomenal miniature, right? Like it looks really cool. It's definitely a great glow up. But it's still very recognisably the Prince Uriel that we know and love. In game terms, he makes a phenomenal either leader for a Corsair army, or you can put him into a standard Craft World force. And he has a very useful ability to redeploy some of your units before the game starts. And he also has some boosts to whatever unit he's joined. So just a really good
cool. I like
leader.
him.
And a combat stat line that punches up with some of the best of the Eldar heroes. He's got a really nice damage 3 weapon, which is the sweet spot for killing a lot of the best units in Warhammer 40,000 these days. So he can rough and tumble with the best of them, really.
And he's got 2 banners, and banners are the best. So
that's how you know he's good, right?
Yeah,
so it comes with 2 banners.
So obviously the other thing that you might have seen in that video and in the army shot that we saw was this. This is the Starfang. It is an Aeldari unit which is designed to go alongside the Corsair Raiders as they fight. It's pretty good in its own right. Eddie, can you talk us through it?
I absolutely can. So this is a really useful little utility unit. So first and foremost, it has a fairly respectable amount of firepower. Its firepower is geared to killing heavy infantry level stuff. So AP3, strength 6, 2 damage stuff. So it's a Space Marine killer in terms of its damage output. There's a disintegrator cannon you can see on the front of it there. But one of the other things that it does for your army, which is really useful, is it can make one of your infantry units have stealth. So its grenade launchers can basically cover the one of your infantry units in kind of cover and give them effectively makes them harder to hit, which is really useful because a lot of your army is going to be quite fragile.
Nice. One of the things that's really exciting about this is it is a twofer kit, as we sometimes call them. Essentially, the kit that's in the box, and eventually it will be available separately, also makes the Viper, which I believe is actually the name that the box will live under. This is a classic Aeldari vehicle, which has been around for 30 years or more.
I think it's longer than 30 years.
Now we're talking.
Terribly. Yeah, this is a classic light attack vehicle. It's 2 crew. It's got that turret on the back. and it's got a range of weapons available to it, right?
Yeah, so this is the updated Viper.
That's,
it will be
now we're
recognisable to anybody
talking.
who's had a Viper in their army. It still retains a lot of the key features that you'll recognise, but some of the weapon options are a little bit more flexible than they used to be. It still has the option of things like shuriken cannon. You can have a star cannon on there. You can have a bright lance. Underneath the Viper, you also have the option now to put an Eldar missile launcher on it. So that gives you the potential to make it quite a good anti-tank unit. You can put 2 of these in a unit, so you can imagine 2 bright lances, 2 Eldar missile launchers shooting into something becomes quite formidable. Or you can get it out for pretty good anti-infantry with shuriken cannons and star cannons and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so here we got a really good look at it in person on the desk. It is a fantastic looking kit. It's got that classic silhouette that you expect. If you build it the right way, the turret has some play, so you can maneuver a little. This is an heavy metal painted one, and I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to fiddle with it too enthusiastically. And then, I guess the major difference is the sort of the positioning of the turrets and the way they work.
The fucking Viper pisses all over the other one.
Sort of
it's so much nicer.
Very classic design. The Viper's been with us for a long time.
Yeah, I mean the current Viper model is lovely, but it's definitely showing its age a little bit around the edges. So the crispness on the detail on this, some of the posability of the weapons and that sort of thing. The engines now match some of the things like the jet bike engine, so it fits really neatly and nicely into an Aeldari army.
Inside the cockpit's detailed, so you can paint that and then seal the canopy in with the sort of like transparent plastic. And you've got options for the crew. This one with the Starfang has sort of crew that look more sort of
kind of Corsair oriented.
And then you've got the classic sort of craftboard helmets on the Viper, but you can mix.
You can go underslung shuriken cannon again as well, which I took away this edition. I love it.
Where do you learn about all of these exciting Corsairs, both the Red Corsairs and the Eldritch Raiders? Well, of course, we need a book for that. And here we go. This is the succinctly named Warhammer 40,000, the Maelstrom, Lair of the Tyrant into the Nightmare Realm. If you are familiar with Titus, which just released, I think, this is a very similar idea. So it's 4 books contained in a slipcase that detail all of the events that we've talked about and the characters and things, and some brilliant new and exciting ways to play Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot to go through here. Just like the 500 Worlds books we've just seen released, there's loads of good stuff in here. Lair of the Tyrant is your lore book, so this dives into the history and environments and all the locations within the Maelstrom in a level of detail that we've never seen before. We find out about the key planets within that region, the bits that Huron is in control of, the various different battles that are ongoing. It's definitely not a unified empire, right? There are lots of factions all playing for their part and trying to carve out their little pirate empires within the Maelstrom. It also tells you all about the Red Corsairs and particularly Huron's bodyguard and his retinue that follows him round, and Prince Uriel and his Corsairs as they battle against the Red Corsairs for dominance.
Yeah, each of these books does a slightly different thing. For example, Crucible of Champions is quite exciting because it is encourages you to sort of create your own hero, stamp your own identity on them, which is a thing I love to do whenever I'm playing a game of Warhammer 40,000. I imagine the commander of my army is me, so that's very exciting. And obviously,
I think you'd make a great player.
Cooler than me because he's a Dark Angels company master normally. But you can sort of get different war gear and different special rules and all of that stuff to make really exciting and unique characters, and then use them in your games, which is great.
Lair of the Tyrant detachments, as you might have guessed, has some detachments in. So one of the things that's worth saying about this book is, much like will happen with the 500 Worlds Titus book, all of the rules that are for match play will also be made available online and in the Warhammer 40,000 app.
That looks like
you can also find them in print in Lair of the Tyrant. And there's some new detachments for Chaos Space Marines, as you'd imagine, and for Aeldari. So one of those detachments allows you, for example, to make a very heavily Corsair-themed Aeldari force.
Perfect. Raid and Ruin lets you put together campaigns that involve things like ship-to-ship actions and stuff. So really exciting. Right. So this is not the only stuff that we've got to talk about with regards to the Maelstrom. We also have some new battalions. There's 2 of these. The first one is the Drukhari Battalion, and is packed full of, let's be honest, raiders who are looking
They love piracy. They were kind of the original Eldar pirates, the Drukhari here, and this is a very heavily witch-themed box. So if you're looking to start a Drukhari army and you've got an eye on the gladiatorial pits of Comora, this is a great place to start.
It includes a succubus, 2 venoms, 3 reavers, 5 hellions, and 10 witches. So loads of that witch-themed stuff that you were referring to before, and a really good bedrock for a new Drukhari army, or just the reinforcements if you're already deep into that collection. There's another one. This is the Leagues of Votan Battalion, and that includes the Memnir Strategist and 6 Ironkin Steeljacks for them to control and get the best out of.
We haven't sold many Steeljacks.
Ironkin Pioneers to sort of range ahead of the army and scout ahead. And again, ideal for exploring the Maelstrom and bolstering an existing Leagues of Votan force if you want to.
And kind of a nod as well that a lot of the lore in this Maelstrom book is relevant to a big chunk of Warhammer 40,000. Like there are loads of people within the Maelstrom all trying to carve out little mini empires. There's Orc Freebooters and Drukhari and Leagues of Votan and all sorts of stuff.
And there's opportunities in there. It's like it's sort of untested
for those
space.
With the will to claim it.
Exactly so. Fantastic. So we have been keeping an eye on some questions, and I've got some that I will just quickly fire out here. So Prime Mod Hale asks, will Huron and his mates be available separately later, or will we be condemned to a character box?
So Huron is in the character box in the same way that Titus is. So there's 2 big boxes coming out initially for the Red Corsairs. One of them is the Red Corsairs Army, which is the Reeve captain leading a force of Red Corsairs, and the other one is Huron and his bodyguard. Everything in the big battalion box will be available separately, but I think for the moment Huron's staying with his retinue.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is, can Huron's retinue join another unit?
I think
it's a unit in its own right and operates independently. So that is a good question.
I don't think so.
Perfect. And then a question, I think, regarding the Viper from Jocked4020 is the turret interchangeable? I think if you built it carefully, you might be able to interchange the weapons, but I think once you've built the turret, that's your lot. So
I haven't built it, so I don't know for sure.
Perfect.
You could certainly have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your questions coming in. We'll try and answer some as we go through. One last one from Afexipe. If I've said your name wrong, I apologise. And your question is, which factions can be played in the Maelstrom campaign? Absolutely loads of them. There's an enormous list which I won't go through, but it includes things like Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Orcs, Freebooters would be great in there. Loads of things. The idea is that you can get involved and have good fun. So if you want to explore the Maelstrom,
which is a weird way of saying it. So is it not
violent, chaotic environment?
I assume it won't be like knights.
I'm quite sure that we will list the factions that you can use on Warhammer Community.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can decide for yourself. I think it's almost everything in Warhammer 40.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we've left somebody out, to be honest. Perfect. Thank you very much.
If it can't need other units like Titus and Forensic Waves you play, well, you have no idea what the rules are, so you can't.
Yeah, that's fair.
The rules might be mental on a unit on its own.
There's more Warhammer 40,000 later, but let's go to the Mortal Realms now.
More Warhammer 40,000 later. Good Games Workshop.
Yes. You can't just solve all of our problems by increasing the bone tithe. The hell I can't.
He's cool.
The armies of the Bone Tithe received some much desired reinforcements with this huge glut of models for the Ossiarch Bonereapers. Eddie, let's talk about what we saw, I guess.
Yeah, so this is a fairly large drop of new miniatures for the Ossiarch Bonereapers. A lot of these units fill a really nice niche in the army that players have been looking forward to for a long time. If we start with the Mortex Triaxes, we saw a Ossiarch with a bow quite a while back, actually, in a Warhammer Underworlds warband.
Canaan's Hunters, I think.
Absolutely. And I think way back then, people were speculating, of course Nagash didn't make just one bow, right? That would be a really strange thing to have done. He did, in fact, make loads of bows, and he's given it to his phalanxes, and now you can have entire units of bowmen in your Ossiarch Bonereapers army. And that does really fun stuff for you in terms of how you might approach building an army. You can now make a very shooty death army, which has never really been an option before. You can imagine loads of these backed up by your Mortek crawlers and things. Yep. You can absolutely dominate the shooting phase. They've got some really tasty rules in-game. They've got a very respectable damage output with 2 shots each and a point of rend in there. And one of the things to watch on them is those little braziers that follow the unit around.
Yeah, these are my favourite guys in the kit, really. I like the little familiars and stuff. And these are balefire braziers you see in the bottom left of your screen right now.
I swear AOS models are so much better than 40k.
What happens is if you fire
they've
unfortunately
just followed Red Corsairs, which
once
was
you're done,
insane.
you place one
So
of these
I'm not
balefire
sure.
braziers on that unit. And that has a few effects. The most significant from my point of view is that that unit, while it's got that token on, can't heal wounds or get models back. And so instead you take that token off. And I rely, as my Stormcast Eternal player, on repairing damage to my unit, and so it's quite damning. In addition to it looking fantastic with those shrieking faces in the flames.
Yeah, the models are very cool as well. I like the kind of one eye look that they've got as well. So obviously Nagash forges
like a bonus eye in their forehead.
Yeah, well, but it's maybe not quite where you'd expect it to be. Maybe it's like right at the top of where you'd hold an arrow. I don't know if that makes you better at shooting an arrow.
Do they even see through eyes?
I don't know.
Anymore?
Who knows, right? So, but anyway, they're quite good at shooting. You'll definitely see some in Ossiarch armies, and you can do some very fun stuff with your.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is another infantry unit for the army. These are the Mortis Reapers.
I love these. These
they are
cool
dread
shit.
assassins from the realm of death, and they use their Reaper's blades to butcher the enemy, specifically enemy heroes.
Yes, so this is a very useful unit for taking on enemy heroes and kind of those little isolated useful units like wizards and priests and stuff like that. They've got two things that help them out with that. They've got anti-hero on all of their weapons. They also have the ability to effectively teleport through pieces of terrain. So you can move towards a terrain feature, you can pick the unit up and you can redeploy it on the other side of that terrain feature. So you can catch out enemies that are trying to hide behind cover.
Well, it's a favourite tactic, right? You know, park behind a piece of terrain and think you're safe, and these guys burst out the other side. That's quite nasty. And fantastic in terms of imagery. This is a very different look and feel to what we expect from the Ossiarch Bonereapers, who are normally quite regimented and sort of militaristic.
Yeah, they're used to sort of frowned upon within some of the Ossiarch circles, isn't it? Some of
it's not quite the way it should be done.
It doesn't seem like it's fair. Like they are all about rules, aren't they?
But their boss makes the calls. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. He's the boss.
So to lead these new infantry models into combat, we have a new hero. This is a Liege Mortec. A good, solid battle line leader to accompany the troops, and he has some good abilities in the game.
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, he is useful to have an infantry hero. You can use him to wander around with your infantry phalanxes. He has a particularly cool little ability, which is that if he is in combat with an enemy unit and you activate him to fight, another unit nearby can fight or shoot into the same combat, and they get +1 to their hit rolls if they do.
He's cool.
That stacks really nicely with that new archer unit, because effectively you can charge in with this guy and then they back him up with a rain of arrows as he slams into the enemy forces. So it's quite a kind of thematic look. He also stacks really nicely with your phalanxes of spearmen and line infantry within the Ossiarch. So just a really solid, dependable hero to put in the military army.
If you're going for Mortec Guard and Triaxes and Crawlers, you want a couple of these to keep everything operating at maximum efficiency. I think that +1 bonus on those to hit rolls is really going to be great. Speaking of heroes, we also saw the Liege Cavalos on War Chariot. I feel like this is like something that Nagash dreamed and recalled from a world that was, back from ancient Nehekara with their, they were renowned for their chariots. And here we see a nightmare vision.
I always struggle with
mortal
bone horses.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
They're
the
right, though.
Ossiarchs are very much Nagash's idea of an ideal army. So obviously twisted through the filter
Thank you for 20
of the God
gifted,
of
you
Death.
legends.
But these are very powerful units in the game. There's two versions of this kit. There's one that you can make into a hero chariot, and there's also a kind of standard chariot. The hero chariot is a really, really durable unit. They both are, but the hero one has 12 wounds, a 3-up save, and a ward save. So even without being fast and having lots of other abilities, he's just really hard to kill and get rid of. But he stacks really nicely if you send him in alongside some chariots, because he's got some abilities that let them kind of grind into the enemy units even after they've charged in and done all their kind of damage and impact hits and stuff. You can keep just doing stacks and stacks and stacks of mortal wounds.
Cool, yeah. I actually quite like the horses. Thank you for the 20 gifted, John. We're on 166, chat.
Undying legions to hold the enemy on the anvil and then just smash them away with the hammer of the cavalry units. And,
I think all the stuff coming out for Ossiarchs just gives them loads of new options. Because I think there's been a couple of ways to play Ossiarchs for a little while now, but now you've opened up a whole swathe of new things, right? So you could imagine armies that leaned really heavily into chariots and had death riders and stuff accompanying them. Yeah. You can imagine armies that lean really heavily into shooting. A combined arms list now looks really tasty. So there's loads of stuff that just opens up a new toolbox of stuff for Ossiarch armies.
Yeah, absolutely. What if you want to do something completely different? Well, we're releasing the Null Myriad Phalanx. This is the personal army of Arcan the Black, and it's an army of renown. So if you want to take an Ossiarch Bonereapers army with a slightly different feel, essentially you don't have access to all of the units you would normally do, but you get some distinct bonuses. Essentially, Arcan and the wizards that accompany him get bonuses to make their spellcasting more effective and even better, and the whole army gets some arcane protection to sort of reduce the incoming magic that would come your way. And it's super thematic. Arcan's like one of the top wizards of death, right?
Yeah, he's also been part of Warhammer for
a very long time.
40 plus years at this point. But if you like magic and you like Ossiarchs and you want to just go all in for magic, this is one of the ways that you can do it. This is a great little box set to start off. You can also just use this as the start of any Ossiarch army as well. It's a perfectly good start to that too. There's another box set on their way as well.
So here we have the Heralds of the Bone Tithe, which is a regiment of renown for them.
Yeah, so effectively this means
is kind
that
of,
you can
it's
put,
cool.
Some of your Ossiarch units into any other death force. So if you have something like a Soulblight Grey Lords army, or a Nighthaunt army, or a Flesh Eater Courts army, you can send some of Nagash's tax collectors along with your force, so that when the battle has finished, they can go around the battlefield and gather up the bones of the fallen. There's some really nice little abilities in this unit. He's got a spell that means that if you cast it onto an enemy unit, they have to use a command point if they want to fight, which is it's really, really good. You've got to get it cast. Your opponent will know you're trying to do it. But there is a potentially game-winning little move in there. If you can stop an enemy unit from fighting because they've run out of command points, or make them use a valuable command point when they don't want to,
just to do something they would normally do for free, right?
normally do. That's anything that you can force your opponent to have to use resource they don't want to is great.
It feels like a really thematic use of Vok Mortian, right? He's the sort of the master of the Bone Tithe. He's the one who tallies it all, and here he is, sort of bringing that into the battlefield. There are only two things in life that are completely inevitable: is death and taxes, and this box is both of them. Speaking of death, this is the Death Battle Tome Ossiarch Bonereapers. It contains everything you would expect to find in a battle tome. So this is full of brilliant lore about the Ossiarch Bonereapers and who they are and how they fight, as well as all of the rules for everything that we've talked about. They've got a really interesting new rule available to the army, which is Relentless Discipline.
I do like all these.
They're cool. I'm just kind of like a new little
I don't know. I always I'm like
profile circle that you get.
I'm a bit like Sol. I kind of always struggle with the OBR.
Points which they can spend.
They look nice, they're cool, but they just kind of don't blow me away. Nagash does. He's about the only one.
And they can spend those throughout the game to gain some extra abilities. Really exciting. I've not collected any Ossiarch Bonereapers before, and as I was sort of deep diving into this ahead of this preview, I got quite excited at the possibilities and the weird combos and things you can do. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so you've got things that basically help you out in every phase. You've got things that make you better at fighting or slightly more durable and things like that. And one of the things you want to do when you're putting your army together is go, how many heroes do I want so that I've got the right amount of tools and of these points to spend on my units? So it definitely rewards someone with a systematic and kind of strategic approach to putting an army together.
If you want to get a sense of the scale of things, we've got them here, and I'll put the Liege Cavalos alongside the Liege Mortek. He's already a fairly big Ossiarch Bonereaper.
He's taller than a Stormcast.
Exactly, and then the chariot is just this wonderful piece here. Just so cool.
But both of these have got quite a lot of options and bits on them as well. So if you build either of these characters, you've got some spare bits and you can customise a little bit and choose whether you want to go with a spear or a sword or which of the various headdresses and things.
And I think you could probably
charisma is not a word that exists in a dictionary.
As well. Multiples of either.
I mean, that's what Nagash is doing. Really, he's just getting all the bones in a big pile and building his own thing. Right? You too could be a Lord of Death.
Perfect. Right. That is not it for the Mortal Realms, however. We have another battle tome to show you that is coming out fairly soon. This is the Chaos Battle Tome, Disciples of Tzeentch. And as you might expect, it contains everything you need to know about the followers of the Changer of Ways and all of his armies that are at his disposal. And it's not just a book that's coming out. We are also accompanying it with a new miniature, which is the Fate Master.
He's a sick little model.
Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so Fate Master is the general of the mortal armies of Tzeentch. Of course, they are a wizard because almost everybody who follows Tzeentch is in some way or shape or form a wizard. But primarily, they are leading things like your Chirec Acolytes and things like that into battle. Because this is a Tzeentchian general, they don't really play fair. So a lot of their tricks and things that they bring to the battlefield are less about winning in a straight fight and more about deceiving your opponent. So you can use some of their abilities to move your own units around the battlefield. When the enemy comes within range to try and charge your units, all of a sudden they're not there anymore, they're actually on the flank, and you can engineer some very advantageous combats. So they are a great little unit. They are still a Chaos Lord, and they still fight in combat very effectively, 100%, but it's the tricks and the strategic positioning stuff they bring to your army that makes them really pop in your games.
He's a really nice little model, I like him a lot.
And there's a new terrain piece for these, which is just fantastic. This is the thing I'm most excited about for the Disciples of Tzeentch. These are the Argent Shards. Just fantastic embodiment of like the weirdness of Tzeentch, right? When you look at these and sort of the magic swirling around them. There's a story being told by this model which is borne out by the rules and the lore. Essentially, you see the one on the left on the screen sort of being torn apart. These drift around the battlefield. They're really useful. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But if one is destroyed, if you don't get them both, the other one will split and essentially make a new one. And so that you see it splitting apart. That's really part of its own story. It's just great.
Yeah, so they've got two abilities, effectively. One of them is that if one of them is on the battlefield, you can immediately make another one in your hero phase. And if you've got them on the battlefield, you can reposition them as well. And the reason you might want to reposition them is that your wizards can use them to channel their magic through. So if you're close to one of these and you're a Tzeentchian wizard, and you've probably got loads of Tzeentchian wizards if you've got a Tzeentch army, because that's kind of the whole army.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Use these to cast your spells further than you otherwise could.
Into it. And I'm not really a Tzeentch fan. That little character dude, they're fucking huge, by the way.
We've got them on the table here, so you get a sense of the scale. So again, this is a fairly large infantry model that's like larger than the Stormcast Eternal there. So they're fairly big pieces of terrain, and they go back to that kind of classic Tzeentchian idea of the Silver Towers of Tzeentch, which has been part of their lore for kind of time immemorial. This is a little nod to that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see these cropping up in like any Tzeentch army.
Oh yeah, we were talking before about, if you've got something like 1,000 Suns army and you're building some scenery or something, you can imagine having these mixed in amongst them to make your battlefield look as Tzeentchian as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is not it in terms of battle tomes forthcoming for the Mortal Realms. There is another one almost equally magical as well. These are, of course, the Order Battle Tome for the Lumineth Realm-lords. Again, everything you'd expect from a battle tome, updated with fantastic new lore and all of the rules and things you will need to play your games. The Lumineth Realm-lords army rules had a shake-up, which is quite exciting.
Joe literally just put the same thing in the
Warhammer Studio, all about that. And we don't possibly have time to go into all of those details here today, but we'll be covering it as we get closer on warhammercommunity.com. There's also a new model for them. The Lumineth Realm-lords have been really well served with battlefield wizards, but maybe not as many sort of frontline fighting heroes. So this is a Venari Lord Regent.
Yeah, so the Lord Regent effectively leads your infantry phalanxes into battle. They are a very competent fighter. They're an elven lord, so they've got a very respectable combat stat line. But the real thing they bring to the battle are two special rules in terms of your game. One of them means that nearby Lumineth units, when they rally, because they are a shining example to their people, you get to roll extra dice into that, which is really useful if you're trying to bring back your models, especially when they cost so many points for Lumineth. So every elf that joins your force is very worthwhile. The other thing they do, if you put them alongside a unit of your wardens, which are your big kind of spear phalanx, they can basically have the phalanx advance into enemy units and cause a whole bunch of mortal wounds. So your big scary block of spearmen becomes even scarier.
Driving forward that spear line.
So your spearmen can not only do mortal wounds when they fight, they can also just do it passively by existing and pushing forward into the enemy force.
Fantastic. You've seen on the screen now that the kit has some variants. You can build it in a couple of ways or mix and match between. Maybe you get some spares. And we've got them actually on the desk in front of us if you want to have a look. The thing that I like about the sort of the difference is you can see this one's got like a little amphora on his back, and then this one obviously has got this sort of double banner. Very catchy.
Two back banners definitely in this season, isn't it?
Oh, I tell you what. Banners are back, it seems. Banners back. That's good. So there we go.
Ask once the reveals finish. Yes,
again, just a great hero for your Lumineth Realm-lords. We've got some questions. They've been flooding in through the chat.
Do my best.
Actually, the first question really hits near my heart. It says,
questions. I'm going to use the bathroom.
Kathmandu says, do you ever get nervous when you're touching Heavy Metal miniatures? Let me tell you, I am terrified every time I touch Heavy Metal miniatures.
When they hand them over, they sort of scowl. So we're not really allowed to.
Each of these represents like dozens, if not hundreds, of hours of work, right, by the best painters in the world, and they need to be treated that way. The first ever battle report I played years and years ago, I dropped a hell cannon, and I've always been nervous about it ever since. Next question is Can I use, and it's talking about the Liege Mortec, this is from Priminus Lamp, can I use this as a MOE proxy? I think you mean Master of Executions, and I think you need to do quite a lot of conversion work to do that. But that said, doing kit bashing is half the fun of this hobby, right? I'm looking at all those Red Corsairs, just imagining stealing the heads for my armies. So, yeah, maybe. And then, always good for a fun question is, from Fossil Fracas, if the new Chariot and the Sunstealer Wheeler got into a race, who would die first?
Oh,
well, I would argue that the Ossiarch Bonereaper is already dead.
I think the Sunstealer Wheeler is faster, probably, but it's tortoise and hare, isn't it? You'd probably get bored about halfway through the race and stop.
He's never going to outlast the dead, is he?
No, probably not.
Perfect. Look,
okay,
that was all a bit of fun. Thank you for keeping your questions coming in. We're going to go now from the Mortal Realms to a very unusual place, which is the Gridiron, as we keep the theme of elves, and we go to Blood Bowl. So, time for us to talk a little bit about the latest Blood Bowl team to approach the Gridiron. These are the Caledor Dragons, and I got some things to say. This is a classic Blood Bowl team which has been around for a very long time.
Army.
Now it is redone and updated in plastic for the modern era. Season 3 of Blood Bowl launched just recently, and I'm really excited for these. I think this might be the last of the classic teams that we're waiting to see.
Could be right. Could be.
Anyway, if you know the Caledor Dragons, you might know what to expect, but they have 4 positionals, and each of them fills a very specific role within the Blood Bowl game. So the first up is the Dragon Princes. So they are essentially the show stealers of the Gridiron for the Caledor Dragons. Incredibly skilled players. They've got a fantastic stat line. They have great rules as well. So in addition to block, which you'd expect, because these guys kind of fill the role of a blitzer, but they also have steady footing, 6+, and you don't get knocked down. So you can use that against any of the circumstances which might come up. They also are penalised by a little rule which is known as My Ball, which means they can never give the ball away no matter what.
Don't like sharing.
So the trick with this is to burst through the enemy pitch, get down the field, and then get the ball to this guy. So he doesn't have to give it away, he can just go and score a touchdown instead. Next up, we have the White Lions. The High Elf team is a little bit different to some in that it doesn't really have a catcher archetype. Instead, you've got the White Lions, which are another blitzer almost. They don't have block, but they do have wrestle, which is a very good skill to make sure that you don't get stuck with a turnover if a tackle goes weird and you both get knocked down.
If you're both lying down.
Oh, lying down, oh, my word. The claw is not just symbolic. They have the claw's special rule. And what that means is that they never need more than an 8+ to bust the armor when you're making the armor roll, having successfully hit somebody. That's really useful. The third of the sort of skilled positionals are the Phoenix Warriors. The Phoenix Warrior really fills the role of thrower, and this is one of the best throwers on the Blood Bowl pitch, of any team. Fantastic stat line, really, really great at making sure the ball goes where you need it. So they have those throwing skills that you would expect. Also, they have Cloudburst, which is so good. Essentially, Cloudburst gives you a real advantage in that when you lob that ball, the enemy can't make intercept rolls against you.
I don't know what this means.
Imagine your Dragon Prince has burst through, he's far down the field, you just one nice, clean lob shot all the way down the pitch, and nobody can catch it. I like this team. It's great.
What I love about all of these miniatures is that they look like the Blood Bowl incarnations of the classic world units. Great. So like the Phoenix Guard, the White Lions, the Dragon Princes, they just look exactly like those, but in shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So lots of calves and thighs on display, but otherwise it is just pure Blood Bowl fun. Right, this is the 4th position. They're the High Elf linemen. In some ways, the linemen are the boring part of your Blood Bowl team, but High Elf linemen are really good. Right, let's not beat around the bush. They've got great stat lines. They've got decent armor. They've got no skills to speak of, but they're reliable. The only downside is at 65,000, I think it is, to recruit them. You don't get a massive team. You know, I started my Blood Bowl time.
It's definitely an elite finesse team.
Yeah, and so you've got to get everything acting in the way it's supposed to. And I
fucking love this kit though. I think it's sexy.
Making tackles or throws or catches themselves. The kit also contains, crikey, I've talked a lot here. It also contains the balls, the turn and reroll markers, and everything that you would expect for you to mark in play. And there'll be a Spike journal that comes out alongside all of this when it releases, which is full of all of the stories and the lore behind it and information about different High Elf teams and all of that good stuff.
And dice and a pitch and all that jazz as well.
Yeah, I think you talked a little bit about how they key into sort of the classic imagery of the High Elves. I think one of the things that I really like is that bleeds into the rules in a way. The Dragon Prince is extremely arrogant.
They're like your shock troops.
Exactly.
That go
and
the middle.
The White Lion, they were monster hunters traditionally, right? And so that.
So if the enemy's got a troll, you're like, you're going down, troll.
Blood Bowl stream went
go in
one day.
and bust open.
I'm definitely Blood Bowl curious.
Whatever it might be. Yeah, really, really great. Very exciting to see these finally reach the gridiron. And there we go. That is your Blood Bowl section. Pretty exciting. Coming to a pitch near you. Next up,
they're not very good at this, are they? These two.
We have a little bit of an animation clip to show some people.
Yeah, absolutely. So next up, we have a new clip from Penitent, which is the new Warhammer 40,000 animation on its way for Warhammer Plus very soon. Here are the first 2 minutes of that show.
Okay. Hobby house time, not yet.
For too long, Vision 4 has been bereft of the Emperor's light.
Best in game workshop, I'm sure, probably.
Like so much of our benighted Imperium, it clings on. A candle flickering in darkness. Our mission is of sacred importance. The enshrinement of our fallen Canoness Rexilla. She will be a beacon, a rising call to the faithful. She will mark Vision 4 as a shrine world.
Fucking love sisters.
The Emperor's flock will come, and with them, new hope. The foulness of the orcs shall be driven from this place. We shall risk everything for this. We will not fail, for to do less would be to fall short of what our Emperor demands. By fire and faith, we...
This looks really good.
His test begins.
Eddie, that was awesome. What can you tell us about Penitent?
Yes, this is a new animation on its way for Warhammer Plus. This is an Adeptus Sororitas animation featuring the Order of the Sacred Rose, which is a thing we haven't seen before.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are on a sacred mission to found a new shrine world. They have a sacred relic, and they have to get it to the shrine world. Obviously, the mission doesn't quite go to plan. As you saw there, their ship is intercepted by some orcs and downed, and then they have to trudge across this wasteland to get their relic to where it needs to go. The orcs in this are snakebite orcs, which is pretty cool. We haven't really seen snakebite orcs in animation before. Snakebites, of course, famous for bringing along gribbly squiggly beasts with them, and I can confirm there is a squig in this animation.
Nice. So we get both a cyber sheriff and a squig in Penitent.
Absolutely spoiled, yeah.
Living the dream. So when does it arrive?
So this is on its way in February. The first episode, it will be a 3-part animation with the first one landing in February, so not very long to wait at all.
Fantastic. So if you are not familiar with Warhammer TV, it's available through your Warhammer Plus subscription, and it gives you access to loads of animations and sort of shows that are made by the team in-house, gaming and lore and all that sort of thing. So if you want to watch this as it comes out, make sure you get yourself a subscription and join in. It's going to be great.
Exactly that.
Nice one. Right. So there were some questions in the Blood Bowl section that I got hold of late, and my favourite question was, Custodes, when? Well, I'd like to tell you when. We're going to go to all the way back to the Age of Darkness with this.
They've updated the guard kit. My need is changing again. It's changing again. Oh my fucking God. Please tell me you can use this in 40k. Oh my fuck! I'm in. I've got my Horus Heresy army.
By everything that we just saw there, we have the forces of the Legio Custodes for the Horus Heresy.
I'm fucking in 100%.
Talk about. Let's start with what you can see on the screen right now.
So this is a box, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a brand new box.
This is the Legio Custodes battle group, and this is coming out as part of the launch. Everything in this is a new plastic miniature, and it just looks incredible. You've got two
oh my fucking God!
You've got a dreadnought, a shield captain, and a grav tank. Let's talk about those in detail. These, of course, are the Custodian Guard Sodality. Eddie?
This is a Custodian Guard Sodality. They are the archetypal image of a Custodian. They are towering Guardians, each one with a Guardian spear, able to chop the enemy up in close combat and blast them apart at range. They are a brand new plastic kit. A slight readjustment, I suppose, of the proportions of the Custodians, but still very recognisably the Custodians that you know and love, the Guardians of the Emperor, and still in the Horus Heresy at this point, successful.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't dropped the ball yet. The kit is, as I said, it was multi-part plastic. There's some options in there. You've got these high-plumed helmets that you can see here. There's some bear heads in the kit, so you can build your models, whether they're willing to risk getting shot in the face or not. That's your choice. And then there's option for the Vexilla in there, so you can carry proud standard.
I'm 100% in.
Rule.
Yeah, you've also got all the Misericordia as you'd hope as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of stabbing daggers that the Custodians have.
They're just
such better proportions. They're fucking gorgeous.
The most elite warriors. Here you can see some of the different heads that are available to the kit. So you can do a mixture or all of one style, whatever it is that suits you really. You've already said it, but for me, this is the quintessential image of the Legio Custodes, right? These like serried ranks of sort of spear-wielding, golden armoured warriors. I love it. They're not the only sodality in the Custodes Battle Group box set, though. You also have the Sentinel Guard, who are essentially the same kind of unit, but these are equipped with Presidium shields and Custodian Warblades.
Yeah, so another effectively battle line unit of Custodians. A normal Custodian, such a word can be used to describe the Custodians. These ones are a little bit more defensive and a little bit less killy, but every Custodian is a master of death and very, very durable. These ones have shields, which in your games of Horus Heresy can allow them to use shield war special rules and make them a bit more durable against incoming fire, which is really cool.
My
God.
Absolutely.
And their invulnerable save is better because of those shields as well. They're just great. And so essentially you're just making that choice, aren't you, between these two units.
A little bit killier or a little bit more defensive.
And you probably, in truth, want a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Of course, there was more in that big army shot that we saw than just these two sodalities. Next up, we have the Shield Captain. I am unapologetic in that this is my favourite of the models in this Custodian release. I genuinely think this is incredible.
God,
the
he's
level
beautiful.
of detail they have captured on it is so good. It comes with a couple of options. Here you can see the helmeted head and the unhelmeted head. I really like that golden laurel wreath that has been sort of woven into her hair. If you don't know about Custodian Shield Captains, these are essentially a top-tier fighter.
Just brushed over her hair, by the way.
They can go up against anything up to and probably including the first captains of the Space Marine Legions. If you're not a Primarch, it is not a pushover. And even if you are, be careful.
Yeah, a Shield Captain backed up by a squad of Custodians can happily take on a Primarch level character and up against anything that's a Space Marine. Unless you've got a very, very impressive sword of some sort, you're definitely going to come out on the wrong side of that fight. The miniature is absolutely
so good.
Dripping in detail. I think one of the things you can just see in that rotating image there is the text on the inside of the shield.
We got quite excited about this earlier on, didn't we?
So one of the concepts of Custodians generally is that they write their honour name inside their armour.
I literally said this to Toby the other day. I have an issue with Custodian Guards.
This warrior has achieved throughout their career has been so extensive that the achievements have gone
literally
beyond
said it
their
to you when I was
onto
looking at my
the shield
Custodian
itself.
fucking Wardens in my drawer. I was like, I just
really
can't do the Guard.
Model.
Love the Wardens, can't do the Guard.
This is one of the models of the year this time next year. There's more inside this battle group than we've shown you so far. We go to the vehicles. So first,
these are plastic now as well.
There's two variants. You can choose which one you're going to build. The first of which is the Contemptor Achilles Dreadnought.
This is one of my favourite dreadnoughts in existence.
The Achilles, which is like
fucking gorgeous, and now it's plastic.
It's just a giant Guardian spear, isn't it? If you get put inside a dreadnought and you've been a Custodian, you're like, I really liked stabbing people with a spear. Can I continue to do that? And the answer was a firm yes.
I'm a Custodians player, chat.
It's phenomenally dangerous, big damage. It's got armour bane, so vehicles are in real trouble. For me, this is my favourite of the two, and we'll show you the other one in a second. But look at the pose that you've got on
Look at him, he's
really
fucking beautiful.
They've made the most of the plastic functionality that this kit enables to give you something really special.
That is fucking gorgeous.
Contemptor Dreadnoughts, all of the Contemptor Dreadnoughts, but particularly the Custodian ones, have been available in resin before, obviously, and they've always been kind of highly poseable.
That is a fucking dreadnought, chat. Look at it.
It's now an even easier material to work with, and you've got more options and ways of building. So you can include half a dozen of these dreadnoughts in your army if you wanted to, and every single one of them could look completely unique and different in terms of posing.
Oh my God, I'm in love.
So this is the Contemptor Galatus Dreadnought. Again,
I think this one's my favourite. I think he looks absolutely awesome. There's something about a dreadnought with a massive shield and a massive sword that just absolutely works for me. And it mirrors the two different core unit types within the Custodians, right? You've got one with the spear, the more aggressive one. You've got one with the shield and the sword, the more defensive one. So if you wanted to, you could pair them up, right? You could have the shield one walk around with your shield Custodes and your spear one go alongside the warriors.
This is a me army, Toby. I'm telling you.
The Contemptor Galatus has the Galatus Warblade. That is just going to cut through like medium and heavy infantry like nothing. A thing to bear in mind about these is every dreadnought is piloted by like a fallen warrior, right? That is entombed within the sarcophagus. Just bear in mind that the warrior that is piloting this warrior custodian, the absolute fighting elite of the Imperium, handpicked and created by the Emperor. These are really, really dangerous on the tabletop. In addition to all of that armor, they're phenomenally skilled warriors still.
Yeah, a very, very good stat line. They can wade into whole phalanxes.
If I can make this as a Nina, Toby, that also works as a heresy army.
The final thing that's inside the Custodian battle group box is this. This is the Caladius Annihilator Grav Tank. We'll talk more about other Grav tanks in a minute.
Tanks are
but essentially, think of this as a main battle tank for the Legio Custodes force. It is equipped with an Arachnus Blaze Carronade, which is the sort of double-barreled weapon you see on top. This is a devastating ranged weapon with 2 fire modes, the first of which is anti-tank. You're thinking
this needs to come yesterday because I need to start painting it now.
Armor Bane.
Apart. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then its alternate fire mode is multi-shot and is great at gunning down heavier infantry.
Yeah.
So a thing that we were talking about before, and I think you made a really good point of, was stuff in the Legio Custodes force needs to often do 2 things.
Yeah, because you're almost always outnumbered, both in terms of how big your units are, but also in terms of how many units you have on the battlefield. So it's not enough that you've got a unit that's very good at killing tanks. It might also need to do some double duty to, pitch into the battle against enemy heavy infantry or support your units, whichever thing is currently giving you challenges. So most units in the Custodian army are quite good at several things.
Yeah, absolutely so. Those are the units that make up the Custodian Guard battle group
chat's going mad, by the way.
Shown at the start. There are more units coming along the way.
Yeah, that'll be the first thing you can buy. If you want to go all in for a new Custodian army, that'll be the first thing, but your reinforcements are hot on their heels.
Exactly so. So next is the Caladius Grav Tank. It is very similar to the Caladius Annihilator Grav Tank. It's just not an Annihilator. Instead, it has an Iliastus accelerator cannon on its roof. Think Sicaran battle tank from the Space Marine Legions, if you know the setting and you know the war gear, is similar but upgunned version of that kind of weapon. So decent fire rate, gonna maul medium and light vehicles and pretty much any infantry you put in front of it. This is a big, heavy-duty tank.
Yeah, it's another great option for a line battle tank. You won't get many 100%
facts. They've got rid of all the resin, which is a problem. They've even shown plastic Planetari. They fixed the Custodian Guard scale problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally perfect.
On the theme
literally perfect.
The Grav tanks, we have
the fucking love a Grav tank,
which is the Coronis Grav Carrier. This thing is enormous. We've got one on the desk in front of us. We'll show you in a minute.
Tell me it's a transport.
But essentially, this is big enough that it can carry an entire sodality of Custodian Guard and an accompanying hero.
Yeah, you get kind of a sense of how big it is there because you can see the Custodians next to it. Remember that those are Terminator-sized miniatures, so this is a big old tank.
It really is. It's not unarmed as well. You can see the guns on it, but the one to talk about maybe is the Neutronium Cascade Projector.
Sounds cool.
We'll tell you more about that another time, but essentially it's a powerful gun in its own right. So in addition to disgorging the most elite fighting units in the galaxy onto the tabletop, it's also hosing you with devastating firepower.
The shield captain is... I want that for a painting project.
A huge plastic kit.
Additionally, you might have seen in the video that we saw before, you have the Venetari sodality. So these are elite hunter-killer strike troops within the Legio Custodes.
Look at them!
Borne aloft on these sort of gold wings.
Look at them!
Fire, diving deep into the heart of the enemy.
This is your kind of rapid strike, fast attack choice for the Legio Custodes. You've got a couple of options there. You've got the spear, or you've got the buckler and pistol. Both of those are very lethal. They also all come as standard with Misericordia and effectively like ancient grenades from a bygone era that are more powerful than even things like the melter bombs of the Space Marine Legions.
Yeah, these are some dangerous guys. The kinetic destroyers, which is the sort of handgun-looking thing you can see, is a really powerful hand cannon. Basically, the Tarsus buckler reduces the strength of incoming enemy fire. Or if you equip them with the Veritum Lance, say that fast, really great on the charge. So options a go-go for you to get
just
the most
in case your custodians weren't scary enough. Now they're faster than everyone as well, and there's no escape.
You can see here the front. I believe that is the Neutronium Cascade Mine. So
I think you're right.
Delivering fun into the heart of the enemy.
Just like custodians, these are cool. They're fucking beautiful.
All of this stuff and where you find it exists in the Custodes Leader, which we'll show you here. There you go. It's a big book. It's hardback. It's lovely. It's full of all the lore and the stories and information that you need to learn about the Legio Custodes. Oh, I nearly adeptus them. And in addition to that, it talks about other elements of the Imperial household. So
you've got the Anathema Psychana, the Sisters of Silence, and you've also got the Assassinorum. So you've got all the various tools of the Imperial household, the stuff that the Emperor kept to himself on Terra as his personal army. All very, very powerful forces in their own right.
Yeah, perfect. So we've got the models in front of us. It'll be fun to do a little bit of show and tell. First of all, we have a little stunt guy in the front.
Heresy Bob for scale here.
A happy little solo auxiliary, and let's just stand him alongside the shield captain for context and scale.
Just going to get you a nice close in a second, guys, just so you get a sense of how big these are.
I'll slide him back. Oh, I'm so nervous touching these and don't want to scrape it.
Don't break it.
Tell me about it. So the Custodian Guard are big, right? These are the pinnacle of the gene crafting that the Emperor does when he's creating his elite warriors. The only thing better, I suppose, is the Primarchs. And these didn't go wrong.
So. John, I'm a heresy player now.
Maybe they're the best thing on.
And then you can see the scale of the other things.
I just came
so you can put the little guy up alongside the grav carrier. It's just enormous. This thing is huge. If I spin it around,
I'm going to be able to play heresy with you in the future because I'm doing this fucking army.
It's a big old thing.
So
especially if I can paint one army and play both game systems and no resin.
On the inside. So
fuck me.
If you're one of these modelists who likes to do this sort of thing, you might be able to have
more red super chats, John. Fund my fucking Custodes army.
So I think people are going to have a lot of fun with this, and
just the size of the thing.
It's really cool, isn't it?
I'm so in.
What else is there to say on this?
There's nothing bad.
The dreadnoughts. If you look at the sort of the chest armor on them, if I tilt them,
so there's a few different options on there. Actually, I was looking at the kits before. You've got
Look
options for things like the shoulder pads. So
dread.
if you've got multiple dreadnoughts, you can have slightly different shoulder pads. There's some nice little areas for heraldry. So these ones have got some heraldic devices designed onto them. There's some different faces, I think, in the kit. You've got some different chests. You've obviously got the different weapons. So
exclamation mark red super chats for Liam
There's
Custodes
loads of
army.
detail on them, so but a lot of it's kind of sculpted on, so you could paint them very quickly if you wanted to. If you wanted, spray them gold, put a wash on them. They look pretty great.
You're almost ready for war.
Yeah, they're kind of
point,
ready.
But
also, if you wanted to spend hours and hours and hours and make these, the best model you've ever painted, they are a fine candidate for that as well. They are just really.
I hope it's just all for Horus Heresy. I don't care if it is Ghastly. I'll play Horus Heresy just to use this stuff.
Really nice out of it.
100%.
The other thing that is worth saying about a lot of these miniatures is they will obviously have some dual purpose in Warhammer 40,000 as well. So if you have an Adeptus Custodes army, things like the Dreadnoughts obviously are already a data sheet in your force. You already have data sheets for things like Custodians with Guardian Spears.
It's not a drill!
Shields.
Shield captains.
Shield captains as well. So lots of these, if you wanted to put them into your Warhammer 40,000 army, there's absolutely no reason not to.
Yeah, perfect. So we're not done with the Horus Heresy. There's still more. There's obviously a little bit for the Legiones Astartes. So first up, we have the Legion Glaive Super Heavy Tank. You were really excited about this one.
I think this is my favourite. This is my favourite Super Heavy, and I think it's mostly because I just love Volkite. There's something about it.
Cool
it's just
gun, isn't it?
Intrinsically
this is my army. My calling is finally here.
Plastic Volkite gun we have ever seen, not counting things like stuff on Titans that we might have seen in epic scale.
Yeah, in tiddly tiny scale.
But it is an absolutely enormous
My calling
tank.
is here, John.
Obviously, the Fellblade is the same chassis, but this has, I think, a cooler looking gun. Although I know you're a big fan of
So Fellblade is the one for me, but I can't deny the coolness of this. The panning shots that you're getting right now really just show how cool and detailed this model is, right? That camera is so close to the model, and it just looks just crisp and brilliant and exciting.
This one, of course, painted in Iron Warriors colours.
Yes, well,
it also looks equally good in the other 17 available colours.
Yeah,
it's cool.
So.
I like it.
Maybe
It's cool as shit.
The first, I think. But, you know, who am I to judge? It is a Volkite carronade, if you're wondering. It's just an enormous gun that will deflagrate your enemy should you so desire.
Great special rule.
It's not the only Astartes tank available. There is also the return of a stalwart of the Legiones Astartes, and indeed the Space Marines of the 41st Millennium as well, with the Whirlwind missile.
There's something just kind of lovable about the Whirlwind.
Look at me.
This is a
heresy channel now.
It's got a very useful little artillery piece. Does
Toby's in as well,
cool
so you know.
in the game. This is a long-range artillery support piece that can
those
reach enemy units where most of your
guards
things can't get to
are
them.
such an upgrade on the old kit. It's not even funny.
Morale sapping effects, basically. So it's a debuffing piece of artillery.
It comes with Explosive Standard. You upgrade those missiles to Pyrax if you want, at which point you can literally just drive people off of objectives by causing panic. Fantastic for shifting hard to move. You know, when normally you're trying to kill dozens and dozens of models to claim objectives, whereas land one of those
make them
shells
walk off
and
it, then you can just give
it to you.
We were talking before. This is obviously painted up in the colours of the Imperial Fists. We thought it was quite amusing that it's done as a Templar because they're obviously the keenest usually to get into close combat.
You can imagine how that went. It's like, my Lord Dawn, I'm now a Templar brother, and I'm itching to serve. And he's like, sit in this at the back, please.
Maybe a punishment, perhaps.
Maybe he just likes Sigismund too much. Who knows? It is fantastic, and we're very excited for it. Where will you find all the information you need for these?
Being of the weird, we're drinking too much beer.
There's a new journal Tactica on the horizon. It's called Mailed Fist, and it details the Legiones Astartes super heavy tanks. Lots of lore, organisation charts, and information on how they were fielded, the operations that they fulfilled, that sort of thing, as well as some rules, including the rules for the returning Whirlwind.
Absolutely. And those of you with eagle eyes may have spotted there is one Ultramarine in this preview.
Ultramarine fans,
we are contractually obligated to include at least one Ultramarine Space Marine in every preview, and you can see him there about to be crushed under the uncompromising wheels of the Iron Warriors.
If he's not dead yet, he will be soon. Perfect. So, that was great. Loads of stuff for the Horus Heresy. I'm going to quickly dive into the questions and see where we are at. Right, so we've got, will the Custodes be playable in Warhammer 40,000? That's from Blood of Dead. Well, you've covered that one already. I think we've sort of covered that one. Loads of those models will be. And it's really worth saying again, if it's got an analogous unit in Warhammer 40,000, by all means use it. If it suits you, that would be great. Will we ever see more Sisters of Silence? And the answer to that is they have rules, and all of their lore and stuff is contained within that Liber Custodes, so you can continue to field them. I hope one day we'll get more cool models for them as well.
There's no new Sisters of Silence in this particular wave of releases.
But they are very much catered for.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason that we wouldn't in the future, and they absolutely feature in the rules in this expansion.
And the question is, can you tell us how many heads there were? I probably could have done, but I've forgotten because it's been quite a long preview. I think how many heads? How many bear heads? I think you get enough to do all of the models helmeted.
I think you do, yeah. So if you want an entire squad in helmets, you can do it that way. If you want an entire squad in heads, you can do it that way as well.
I'm gonna get the cup.
Perfect. But don't make your buying decision based on what I said right now, because I might be wrong.
I had a question earlier on that I actually got wrong. I just wanted to revisit. So somebody asked if the Corsair unit was able to join, Huron's bodyguard was able to join another unit. I said it wasn't. It is, in fact, able to join a unit. So
perfect.
Sorry about that.
And the last question, this is from Love George, and the question is, in relation to the tank, is this plastic? Everything we've shown in this entire preview is in plastic. So I don't know which tank you meant, but the answer is yes. The Coronis Grav Carrier, both the tanks, the super heavy, all of it, it's plastic all the way.
Do you want to just get a shot of the Grav Carrier next to...
The scale of the thing is quite fun, isn't it? So try not to scrape the metalwork against each other. So I'm going to put them so they're sort of end to end.
It's a big chunky transport.
How big they are if we get the camera on those. It is very nearly
my soul has left my body
really
for the last 15 minutes.
It's certainly not quite as bulky,
I have just
perhaps.
I think they might have more comfort.
They definitely do, yes. They have a bit more space inside there,
posting UM.
Fantastic.
But it's a big old tank,
is the hobby right now.
Right.
I'm so in, John. I'm converted.
We are not quite done yet. We did promise you that we would return to the grim darkness of
I want to go for a wee-wee!
We are with a little teaser.
Jack. Is it Purty Turbo? What the fuck is that?
Well, that was a tease, wasn't it?
That could mean almost anything.
It could. All we know is that the Reign of Iron approaches, And some of you may have been able to form your own opinions on things that maybe were being hinted at with hazard stripes and sort of burnished silver armor. Who knows? If you want to have a look at those images again,
is that Peter Turbo?
warhammercommunity.com. There'll be an article appearing there. If it's not already there, it'll be very soon, and you can maybe glean a few more bits of information. That brings us to the end of our preview. If you've enjoyed this and you want more Warhammer for tonight, over in the US at Palm Springs right now, there is a Warhammer Open event taking place where there's fantastic games of Warhammer being played all weekend. And as soon as we're done here, we're going to throw back to the team out there who will be commentating on fantastic games of Warhammer 40,000, I believe. So jump on board and have a look at what's going on there by all means. Really what remains, I guess, is to say thanks to everybody who's made this work. Yeah. We've got a team of people who've operated all the cameras and all the streaming equipment and covered off your questions. Thank you to all of you. Eddie, thank you for keeping me company and making this work.
Quite all right, Adam. I didn't have plans tonight otherwise, so it's been fun.
And the most important people to thank all of you who've chosen to spend a little bit of time being as excited about Warhammer as we are and joining in on this preview. It has been a delight. We'll be back in a couple of months with the next preview, I think.
I think we're planning to do something from Adepticon in
Very
March.
excited about that.
Oh my God.
So until then, thank you all so much for joining us. This has been a delight. And we will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
My God. My God, chat. My God. I'm going to use the bathroom. We'll talk about that. What a fucking reveal show. This is how, you know it's a good reveal show when they make it the same time that I can cover it. I think they're doing it for me. I think that's why they do it. It must be.
Stripes can only mean one thing. Reinforcements for the brutal Chaos Space Marines of the 4th Legion, but what miniatures do these belong to? It's like the...
I'm trying to get it up so that I can show them, but nothing is working.
We'll give you the full lowdown as soon as we can. For now, though, we can only confirm that these are all part of a new 140,000 supplement on the horizon titled Eye of Terror, due out in a few months.
Someone said Eye of Terror. I am worried. I can't get it up for that.
It's so hard to not swear. Right. Oh, is it not coming up on there?
I can't. I'm sorry. It's not working.
Let's jump into Tabletop Tactics. Go, wait. Stealing Tabletop Tactics for a minute. Sorry, team. I thought they would leave the music on for a bit longer. Let's turn Vinny back on. We're good. Vinny's back. Hey, Tabletop Tactics. Check out Lawrence. He's fucking great. I love him. What the fuck? What the fuck? What a reveal show. Like, I was legitimately concerned when they started with the Red Corsairs. I was legitimately concerned that when they started with them, I was like, you've peaked too soon here. And the Eldar Corsairs, right, I'll hold my hands up. I know a lot of you expecting Liam jumps to Eldar Corsairs. I know a lot of you expected that when they came up, but, and I think they look beautiful. I think the model range is really, really nice. I think Uriel looks incredible. I love the Psyker. I love the little wing dudes. I think they're cool. But I don't dig the Corsair vibe anywhere near as much as I dig standard Craftworld Eldar. That's just my preference. It's always been my preference. Craftworld Eldar, I don't love Drukhari. It's just, I don't dislike them. I don't hate them. Just don't love Drukhari, right? So I'm kind of torn. Like, the Corsair unit is nice, but actually, for me personally, in that particular reveal, the Red Corsairs were a better showcase. I think that I'm more excited by those. And there was a little part of me that was, because I think they kind of epitomise everything that I think Chaos Space Marine should have always looked like. And I think there was a big part of me that was like, I might actually do Red Corsairs. I'm actually quite excited by these because they look like what I think Chaos Space Marine should look like in the 41st millennium. And then fucking Custodes.
SSM getting their own Stern Guard style kit was not on my bingo card this evening.
No, well, quite. But they're fucking beautiful, right?
Awesome reveals, but Adam is in desperate need for presenter training.
Just get me! I'll do it! The paint job on Corsairs helped the models pop. They looked nice. They looked fucking incredible. They were done really, really nicely. And so, the Ossiarch Bonereapers is a good release. Objectively, it's a good release. It's not really my thing, but I think they look nicer than some of the Bone Reaper stuff that already exists. And I don't love the kind of Ossiarch like aesthetic. I don't love the giant fucking bone bum chins that they've all got. But hey, they fit the theme. They look cool. Archers, the chariot looks nice. That's some cool stuff. High Elf. So I'm like, Red Corsairs for me, utter win. Love it, right? Straight away. I think they're beautiful. Aeldari Corsairs, less excited by it, but I am a fucking Eldar fan. I still think they're really, really nice. New Viper, just nonchalantly chucked on the end there, and I was like, what the fuck? I fucking love a Viper. That was a cool release. Ossiarch Bonereapers, I think, was a cool release. I'm again, me personally, less bothered by it, but I think that's a cool update and lots of models. High Elf Blood Bowl, I'm in. I want that one. And then fucking Custodes. Oh my fuck. Those Custodian Guard are next level. I was literally having a conversation. So, New Year, New Army. I was sat here. I had my Deathwing Terminators in the box sealed. And I was rooting through looking for stuff, right? Because I thought that I had some other Dark Angel stuff somewhere. And I pulled a box out. I pulled a drawer out of my thing from underneath my table, and inside said drawer, right, is a bunch of Custodian Wardens.
New Viper hype. Full bike list, let's go.
Love it.
Smiley face emoji.
So what I pulled out was a bunch of Custodian Wardens, and I took a picture of my bunch of Custodian Wardens, and I showed them to Toby. I was like, Custodians are quite high in points. This is a very easy Nina, surely, because the Custodians are quite high in points. And he was like, yeah, you thinking about it? I was like, yeah, I am. He said, well, what's stopping you? So I said to him, I don't like the guard models. I love the warden models. I love the robes, the flowing robes, but I don't like the guard models. I also don't like the fact that... I'm going to fight with the draw now, hang on. I also don't like the fact that to add tanks and dreadnoughts, I have to fuck about with Forge World resin. That was the two things I said. The new guard models make those warden models look shit. Right? Unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. It was a truly excellent reveal. Sorry I had to leave the Thanes and go MIA for a while. My dad passed away over the Christmas period. It's been a lot to deal with. Mate, bless you for sticking that on stream. Never have to apologise for it. Everyone's there for you if you need it and when you want it, all right? Easy as that. Hopefully you're doing okay. I get it.
Vast improvement to the Custodes proportions.
The proportions. And I saw someone say it in my chat during the show, and it's so true. As if you released in 10th edition that Custodian Shield Captain when you were sleeping on this design that would have already been designed. Like, this new Shield Captain makes that one even worse again. Even worse again. It's just so fucking good. And if I can now do a fully plastic Custodes army that I can use in both Warhammer 40k and Horus Heresy with the speed in which I paint, fuck, I'm in. I'm in. Do you know if the Red Corsairs attachments will be available on the app if you have a CSM codex? No. Everything about Corsairs rules I know is the same as what you know currently. How big a Luris Terminator is going to be? Well, now I just want to build a full, pure, just Custodian Guard and Venatari army with no Wardens or jet bikes or fucking Luris Custodians because, oh my god. Start the new role on Monday. Congratulations, mate. I hope you're doing, like, legitimately hope you're doing okay. Honestly. Unbelievable. Honestly, unbelievable release. What a fucking show. I say what a show. The models and kits and what they've released and what they've shown off for the New Year show has carried it because, let's be honest, right? Their presenting skills. I think that... and maybe it's after Duncan, Peachy and Louise left, but I think that now... when we hire people, right? When I've hired people in the past, You do a CV sift. You look at the CVs and you go, cool. They've listed all the attributes that we're looking for. They have some of the experience and qualifications that we're looking for. Brilliant. We'll push them to interview. Bring them in for interview. We used to do like testing and all kinds of stuff, right? We interview them, and you get an idea of the candidate, and then you pick your successful candidate, and you hire a person. Done it loads. And the CV sift. What do we need on the CV sift? You know, things like working under pressure, blah 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 blah, all that kind of shit, right? I feel like Games Workshop CV sift nowadays is must lack charisma. Must have 0 charisma. The guys who made the shield captain in 40k are crying in the corner, 100%. Necron Space Marine attachments are in the app with the factions, so I would assume so. I would assume so. I would assume so. I don't want to say yes, though, because I don't actually know. Why is it still those 2 chuckle fucks, though? I know, you know, to be very clear, I'm sure they're wonderfully lovely human beings. I've never met either of them. I've never chatted to either of them, so I can't, you know, actually comment. But I'm sure they're wonderful humans. But why those 2 is probably they've got the most charisma out of everybody. Those 2 are not that terrible. You watch a different show to me, mate. We're also at 177 members, chat. We're 23 members away from 200 members. I'm sure what presenters they're not. Yeah, I mean, they do what they can with what they're given, I'm sure, and they're excited. I think for me, they're also, I think they're a little bit let down by the format. I think bad, no. I wouldn't say they're bad. They're not unwatchable, but they're definitely, I always feel like there is a part of the show where I'm going, come on. And I think that they're constrained by what they're allowed to talk about. They're constrained about what they can say. They're constrained about a lot of things. But I think the format of the show, there is too much prattling on, if I'm honest. I think there's too much chat about each of the things where you're like, all right, cool, fine, okay. But that's a me thing. That's I think my preference, and how I would do the show would be a little bit different. And I think I would put more of the detail in the Warcom article, and I would be like, I just point people to Warcom. You know, that's what I would do. If you want more details on the rules for this kit, have a look at Warcom. I heard they drink room temperature water. They're fine, agree. They're just not content creators. GW has made the choice not to hire dedicated presenters, so they're just the best GW has. And I agree, you know, and they're put in there and they do a job every time and they get criticised loads and they still go in there and do a job. So we got to give them that applaud, that you know, praise at least. So I don't blame them for it necessarily. They don't need to do it live, pre-record, you can polish it up. They've done it before pre-recorded, and I think it was better. They had guests in all sorts, so they would just have a guest that would just show up because they did it pre-recorded, and I think it was better. But then I also do like the bit where they answer the chat, although they obviously pick the questions, so they pick the ones that they can definitely answer. But if you think about Red Corsairs and that first release, they answered some questions I didn't really expect them to, because they don't normally, you know, engage in that kind of stuff. I think they did a pretty good job, to be fair. So I don't know. There's definitely swings and roundabouts, and as a person who prefers to do live content, I get why people would prefer live. I'm not sure. Honestly, a Takeover always thought you've gotten wrong. They're perfect for the job at hand. They're not. They're fucking dreadful. I think one of the big things for me is the constant monotone as well. You know, I like, for me, to kind of engage with things and get excited about stuff, you have to have a peak and a trough, an ebb and a flow, a high and a low. And they just kind of don't really do that, but I don't know. I'm kind of less focused on them as presenters for this particular reveal show, because what they've showcased is so fucking good. So good that I'm like, I don't remember if their presenting was good or bad or not, because I was too busy going, my God, I'm a Custodes player now. This channel's about heresy, chat. What can I tell you? We've always been a heresy channel, honestly. I'm so into it. I'm so into it. Fucking incredible. We need a flow here. We do. We do. We do. Anyway, you got opinions? You got things you want to say? Stick them on a postcard. Let me hear it, and we'll talk about it. You know, I know we've got a bunch during the show, and I probably didn't heart all of them. I'm going to try and go in and do it now. I'll go and catch up on all the hearts. The downsides to doing it live. Heart, 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 heart.
Custodes and HH Fund. You better not change your mind or I'm telling John and leaving for SN. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
I've tried to start Custodes a few times, Yeston, to be honest with you, and I've always struggled with the guard kits. I'm in. I'm legitimately 100% in. I really don't blame the presenters. I blame GW management. Troker's a game designer, for fuck's sake. Why is he? Oh, no, I agree. Absolutely. They're doing a job that's given to them. I get it. I'm with you. Tim, thank you for the 5 gifted, you fucking hero. YouTube is currently working still. Chat, make the most of it. The fact that we're on 181 members, by the way, as well, is mad good, so...
I can no longer afford to gift or super chat as I now have 3 more armies to buy.
Don't do that to me, Joe. Don't do that to me. Pick one of them. Don't be greedy now. Don't do it to me, Joe. I'm also sensing the irony in the super chat, by the way. But hey. Yes, and thank you for 5 gifted. I think the Twitch peaked at 10,000. Fuck me. You know, I've got a theory, and I don't know whether I'm just kind of making this up. But I think it's like, me personally, and I feel like a lot of you in chat are the same, I'm on the ramp down to 11th edition. I'm like on the calm down. Like I'm thinking about Beachhead and I don't even know if I want to play. I'm not even bothered about playing Beachhead. Although you might see if now Paddy wants to lend me his Custodes for it. So you know, but I feel like the Games Workshop fan base is just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. I just think it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Even though I feel like I'm on the ramp down to 11th edition, I just feel like it's growing. Cornet Ed, thank you for 5 gifted memberships. Jesus Christ, chat. You and Yeston seem to have broken it.
I take with one hand and give with another as I will be purchasing from HH Smile.
The thing is, though, Joe, right, when you send a £20 super chat, YouTube takes 30%. When you buy a £20 box of models or spend £20 on models, Games Workshop does not take 20%. It takes significantly 30%. It's significantly higher. Significantly higher. Gifted's broken now. You shouldn't have said it's working. I know. Joe's just tried to give 5 as well. Just everyone switch to super chats.
I need to get the old Venatari before they get taken down. Those new ones just don't do it for me. Yes to Red Corsairs 2. And GK refresh in 11th.
I hope so. They did a bit of lore about that, a bit of an article about it today, didn't they, on the Warcom page? So ! PayPal. Yeah, if you can all just click, there's 303 people, right? If you can all just click that link for PayPal, donate 100 quid. It'd be great. Don't do that, by the way, especially if you are a person who's already donated loads or you can't afford it. We've got 15 waiting now, so it says I've currently got 181, but it says I've got 15 waiting, so strictly got 196 if any of them go through. Yeah, I've broken my gifted membership chat again. If you're in chat now and you're a grey name and you haven't got a membership, turn off gifted, turn on gifted, or turn on gifted if you haven't turned it on already. That's the best help you can give me right now. So what's your favourite thing, chat? If you had to pick a single favourite from the reveal show, what's your single favourite? Mine, legitimately, I'm torn between Plastic Achilles, but I actually think my favourite is new Custodian Guard, new Shield Captain. That new Shield Captain is one of the most beautiful fucking models I think I've ever seen them release in plastic. Utterly, utterly stunning. Iron Warriors, okay, Custodian Guard, cool. Nuns as Wandering Celts, they are a hard man to please. Custodian Shield Captain, fair. Custodes, Red Corsair release. If Plastic Custodes use more 40k those, Red Corsairs, Custodes Battle Box, new Shield Captain for you. Custodes by far, OBR Liege Mortec. Okay, someone for the OBR, the Ultramarine. Lovely. Perty Robo Tees, new Shield Captain. Custodes. The Custodes have fucking smashed it out of the park, haven't they? It's going to be awkward when I get my pre-order of Custodes from Games Workshop and I don't put anything on general sale because I bought it all myself. It's going to be really awkward, that. Shield Captain on Mantis Warrior. Eldar Psyker second, fair. Custodes were gorgeous. Yeah, they were. Red Corsairs Raiders. The Red Corsairs Raiders gets really fucking nice. Really, really nice. Viper and Corsairs. Has Brother Man seen the Iron Warriors tees on Warcom yet? I don't know. Huron and Command. Love to see the War Dog. Interesting to see the OBR. I am very happy with the OBR release. Corsairs. See, it's just a fucking great release. I'm kind of sad no one said High Elf Blood Bowl team, but you know. It's just a great release. It's just a fucking solid release. Never really liked Custodes and Army, but my god, they look good. They are literally perfect. I'm going to get off the show in about 20 minutes, and I'm just going to text John immediately. And we can just exchange man fat over WhatsApp. I wanted Trazen. I'd love to see Trazen, actually, to be fair.
Been excited for the Dog Soldier since 4th ed.
Such a fucking model, right? Such a cool model. The 40k Lizard Man is like so fucking cool. So fucking cool. First rule of drug dealing, don't get high for your own supply. Viper third because the 1996 model replaced. Yeah, I had some old ones and they're just not nice kits to work with. They're not nice. They're just they still kind of looked okay in the modern game, but they were just not nice kits to work with. And so new Viper is fucking... Hey, what gets me with the new Viper is that there was a video, there was no showcase of it, which is fine because it wouldn't have fitted, right? It didn't make sense. And then, like I said, they just kind of nonchalantly throw it on the end. Like, oh, by the way, there's Viper, by the way. Like, what? That's nicer than the other one. No official Space Marine shit. They may be listening. Maybe. Zero Leaks is pretty nice. There was a Perturabo leak yesterday, which I think is bollocks. But it doesn't look like the model would be nice enough. But they also released the 40k Shield Captain in 10th edition. So, who knows? But in terms of what we saw today, there was no leases, obviously. Red Corsair team and Custodes, yeah. I don't think it's Perty. I don't think what they showed us was Perty, but I do think he's coming. I think what they showed us was like just a normal warp smith, but I do think he's coming. 100% AI. Yeah, I thought it was. I've only glanced at it once, but I thought it was. All the Maelstrom book covers released. Then they showed a few of the Corsair models slightly early. Oh, really? There's a lot of teasing pics on Warcom for the Iron Warrior thing. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, shall we? Games Workshop. Warcom. So let's do some screen sharing. Boop. So we've got a servo arm, a flamer, a hammer, a shoulder pad.
I need a renegade marine army using Red Corsairs.
Sounds amazing. some backpack tubes, a big old power fist. But that looks like the same power fist, a powerful leg. We'll give you the full lowdown as soon as we can. For now, though, we can confirm that these are all part of a new Warhammer 40,000 supplement on the horizon titled Eye of Terror during a few months. Make sure you stay up to date, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really... it could be him? I don't think it is. It could be, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, chat. What are we saying? Whirlwind for the win. Oh, yeah, I forgot that Whirlwind. He's fucking cool as well, isn't he? He's a sexy little tank. 2 times Custodian's box sets is 120 points shy of a 2k list. I'm in. I'm in. I'm done. It's a bit of a maybe, maybe not, isn't it, mate? 100%. Exactly that. Absolutely. I can't believe membership's got stuck again. I can't get it to give him out either. It might be him if there are build options that look similar to the league. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I can't decide. I can't decide, and I don't actually know, so I can't offer you any kind of intuition either. So, what can we do? I've done 1 Terminator character and 1 Squad of Sisters, 200 points cleared for January last week. But I don't want to do Aeldari Terminators now. I just want to do new. I just want to do just new stuff. I'm gonna have to stick to my Dark Angels until the new army comes out, and then pivot fast. People are really pissed about female Custodes. Why? I'm pissed about how they put the lore in. That annoys me, if I'm honest. How they put the lore in pisses me off. The fact that lore exists, I couldn't care. That's very much where I like you know. Let's be very clear, right? We're considered quite broy and toxically masculine at times. I get it. We have that thrown at us sometimes in a manner in which is meant as praise and kind of it's called like hanging out with the lads, and sometimes it's thrown at us as a criticism.
Warcom article up about future character releases.
Thanks, Elginge. And sometimes it's thrown at us as criticism ultimately, and it's a case of you know, that it's not impressive nowadays. And fuck it, I don't care. I will always and have always said that we will just be ourselves all the time. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You've paid to be here. If you're paying to be here, it's purely by choice. You don't have to pay to watch it, right? So you can fuck off and go and watch something else, and I don't mind. And I often remind people that we're not a fucking airport. You don't actually have to announce your departure. You can, in fact, just fucking leave, right? That's fine. That happens. So our vibe and the way we muck about and some of the silly little jokes we make and the comments that we make, some people, most people, 95% of people take the right way. Some people take it the wrong way. So we are quite broy. We are a bit fucking toxically masculine, if that's what you want to call it. I get it. Fine. When it comes to female custodians, I literally couldn't care less whether they do or don't. The thing is with Games Workshop, and I've been a Games Workshop fan for a very long time. The thing is with Warhammer in general, and I've been a Warhammer fan for a very long time, is that it's their narrative to do with what they want. So
Note on painting Custodes, Rattlecan Retributor and Pot Retributor almost look like two entirely different shades of gold. But prime, quick paint from the pot, Reekl and Fleshade wash.
I've got this, Boo-Earns. I've got Vallejo's True Metallic Imperial Gold set. I'll just use this, I'll be honest. So yeah, so like I literally couldn't give a fuck how they changed the narrative in Warhammer 40k if they think that other people who previously maybe didn't feel like they were included or could be part of it, and they feel like that change is going to be more inclusive for people in general, I think, and shoot me down for this if you want to, I think that's a positive thing. And I don't like some of what they've done over the recent years, where they've got kits that they've released for Space Marine heads and Cadian heads, where they have clearly sculpted some heads to look like people of color rather than just everyone's a generic white man. Adding in females, which is now quite heavily prevalent in Eldar. It's definitely heavily prevalent in Guard, etc. I can't see how that's a bad thing for the wider health of the game and the community. I can't see how that's a bad thing, and I'll never see how that's a bad thing. That being said, that's my stance on whether I do or don't care about female custodians. And the way I always look at it as well, just as a caveat actually to add to this, right? The way that I look at it as well is Warhammer 40k in general, and I'm assuming this also counts for Horus Heresy and Age of Sigmar and Old World, etc. Warhammer is a giant fucking sandbox that you can do what you want in, right? So if in your brain you go, no, I don't want female custodians, guess what? You don't have to build any. You don't have to paint any. You can make your custodian army 100% male. You could make your custodian army 100% female if you want. Who fucking cares? It's the sandbox. Do what you want. And if you're like, in my mind, I don't want the narrative to change, that's fine. That's okay. But Games Workshop, it's their IP. It's up to them whether they do or don't change the narrative. And if I think that it means that some more people are going to get involved in this community and get involved in this hobby because they feel like they're a bit more represented, a bit more part of it, that can only ever be a positive. That being said, the negative to this, for Custodes specifically, was the way in which they went about introducing it, right? You want to retcon the lore and change the narrative, give me a fucking cool story that retcons the lore and changes the narrative. I'm here for that. Give me a reason, give me a path. That's fine. To give it the whole, and this is what happened months and months and months ago, and it is old news by now, but to give it the whole, it's always been like that. Fuck off, it hasn't. That was only ever my issue. My issue isn't a female custodian. My issue is always been there. It hasn't. That's just baiting people. It hasn't. Right? And that's my only problem with it. It's not that there's a female custodian, it's how it was introduced.
Preach, brother.
Thank you, Paul. That's always been my problem.
OBR is AOS equals Tomb Kings for Old World, Custodes equals 30 and 40k 2 armies for games.
Absolutely. Tomb Kings for Old World, Custodes, yeah. 2 armies for 4 games was great, right? In a world where things are so expensive. If you can make that work, that's one of the reasons why I'm so into Custodians, and I've kept an eye on them for a long time. Yeah, so you know, and like this, my point is, if you're one of those people that is, I don't want to accept female custodians, you don't have to. It's a sandbox. What you don't do is you don't go around insulting and abusing other people because they're quite happy to accept an updated narrative. There's a world where in the next 5 years, there's a world where Warhammer as a concept, as a brand, as a thing, as a franchise, there's a world where Warhammer literally goes stratospheric, right? I genuinely believe this. I think that the share market, if you look at stocks and shares and you do that sort of thing and you trade in that kind of stuff, right? The stock market, it looks like they think that potentially the Amazon deal with Warhammer could make Warhammer the fucking next MCU. Right? It could make it the next MCU. Which means it will fucking explode. It will. And if you explode a franchise that...
Well, I'm off to sell my body down the docks. I may make enough money to buy a pot of Retributor
I'll
armor.
give you a pot of Retributor, Joe, if you keep super chatting. Right? So if it goes stratospheric, if it turns into MCU level like popularity and lots of eyes get turned onto it, does it want to see like some? Do you want it to seem like some bigoted white male like fucking closed fan club? I don't think you do want that. I think you want people to go, like, it's hilarious, isn't it? How many sisters players do you know that are women? Men that play sisters get armies. But I've also always hated the story. If you want females, you've got sisters of battle. Like, I don't know. I maybe I'm not making sense here, but it angers me because, there have definitely been occasions in popular culture over the last few years where
I am a bit more against the virtue signaling, but I appreciate your honesty and I believe you have a healthy stance on the Custodes issue. A beer money for you, brother.
Mr. Lucky, this is kind of what I'm getting at, right? I've definitely taken issue on occasion, and I don't think it's all that common, but I've definitely taken issue on occasion with some of what's happened in popular culture where you're like, but that's not right. That you've done that just on purpose to do what you've just said to virtue signal. I don't think it's all that common. I don't think it's as common as people make it out to be. I do think it's happened. I have a problem with it, but I'm also like, does it hurt me? No, it doesn't hurt me. So I don't understand why people get so fucking upset and offended by it. It's people are so often offended on behalf of. Yeah, that grips me. I don't like the concept of virtue signaling. Whether I think that that's something that's going on here or not, I'm not sure. I don't like the way in which they introduced it, and the arrogance to go, it was always like that. Like, you fucking bigot. Like, it wasn't always like that. It's never been always like that. So, you know, that's bollocks. But bringing it in, like I said, just give me a cool fucking story as to why it happens now, why it exists. I don't care. There's a big thing about female Space Marines, right? And whether that's going to be the thing that next happens. Honestly speaking, I don't care. Do it. Go for it. Just give me a cool story as to why that now is a thing that wasn't a thing for ages. Go for it. I don't know. That's just me. I don't really care about it that much, and for me, the lore stopped at 6th or 7th edition. There you go. And the thing is, we have this massive expanse of timeline. There's a massive universe, and you can do whatever you want. What's up, little man? Do you want to come and say hello? I'm just talking to all of my people in chat. Say hello, chat.
Hello, chat.
What do you want? Luce is out, by the way. I'm duty dad. Yes. He just wants his porridge. That's all it is. People love to gatekeep an IP that doesn't belong to them. Yeah. I think what gets me the most is the on the keyboards. Like, just leave then if that's what you feel. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not sure. Look, I don't know if I'm putting this across very well, and I'm very conscious about how I word things because I don't like the idea that things can be taken out of context. I don't like the idea that people will take clips and go, look at this dickhead. I hate that. I'm not into that whatsoever. So I'm trying to be very careful with what I say. I have my own opinions. Often I don't share my own opinions because they're my fucking opinions, and it doesn't mean that I think that everybody else should think like that.
A little pocket money for Junior there as well.
Thank you. So yeah, so you know, for the most part, you know, I have opinions. They will probably differ to. Sometimes I have opinions on things that I know differ to the majority of people, and I'm always open to the open discussion. I have always, no matter what my stance is on anything, whether that's religion, whether that's politics, which we don't talk about because we're here for toy soldiers. I have a stance because we all have a stance. And my stance is going to be different to someone else's. And if I come up against someone who has a completely different stance to me on a particular issue, for example, female Custodes, right? If that happens, they have a very different issue, a stance at me. I'm open to the conversation. I'm not going to swear at them. I'm not going to call them names. Just have the conversation. I think a lot of people aren't prepared to do that, right? I feel like if people are prepared to have the conversation, there are people out there that might, maybe, who will feel less like it's being bombarded and smashed in their face, will be like, Oh, I never thought of it that way. And I think that's the way we should do things, if I'm honest. I think that's the way we should approach things. I think if people are more open to conversation and open to other people's opinions, and I've got to a point where I'm like, I really understand your point of view. Genuinely, I do. I still don't agree with it, and I still think, you know, I still think that my point of view is the right one, but at least I understand your perspective and I understand your point of view. There's just too much angry typing and shouting. There's too much assumptions made. There's too many people jumping to conclusions. And I think that we sometimes in the world nowadays, which is a mad, fast and rapid evolving environment, I think sometimes we all could do ourselves a favour by just slowing down a bit, taking a breath, maybe attacking it from a different angle, listening to other people's opinions. That's just my opinion. That's just what I think, you know, for what it's worth. But hey. Themso's not an issue per se, but the manner in which they're introduced makes me act by them. 100%, that's my stance. Give it to a fucking Dan Abner or give it to an ADB and go, write me a novel where female custodians exist. It probably would have been great. To drop an article and then just go, they were always there, was a cunt's trick. So, you know. But hey, I have opinions on all kinds of things in life. Some of them, a lot of you probably agree with. Some of you probably don't agree with. And I will always live by the singular mantra. How do I word this so it comes across as like a snappy sentence? I probably can't. In fact, the way I put it in Tzeentch is that it's just very simply, don't be a cunt. It's as simple as that. When I stand with someone in a room, whether I'm opposite them on a gaming table, whether I'm stood at a bar having a beer, whatever it might be, right? Whatever it might be, I literally couldn't give a flying fuck about their sex, gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, political stance. I literally don't care. Literally couldn't give a shit. If we're stood there over the table, do you like cool toy soldiers? Do you want to throw some dice? Just be a good human. And if humans were just being good humans to each other, you know? Yeah, well, there you go. Hey. It always felt forced, plus makes very little sense. I mean, it was forced. That's the shame of it. It could have not been forced, and it was forced. To be honest, the only thing I think GW did wrong on this was that they didn't say, you know what, it wasn't a thing prior to this, but you know what, they should have been, now they are. Yeah, exactly. It was such a cop-out when they said they always existed. That's what I don't agree with. 100% pure gaslighting by Games Workshop with no reasonable explanation. And again, this is what I'm saying. I agree. I don't have a problem with the concept of it existing. For me personally, I don't like the way it was done. My point is, it's just a bit of fun. Keep politics, religion, out, and nastiness out. Fun first. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I just don't understand. Sometimes I don't. I understand the gaslighting for they were always there. I understand the rage about that. I genuinely get the rage about that. I do understand it. As someone who's quite invested in the narrative and the lore myself, the rage at them existing, I don't think I get that. I don't think I understand that, honestly.
The world needs more people like you, Liam.
Oh, bless you. I don't. But I like to think, Deadman. Maybe I'm wrong. I like to think, actually, though, that I'm not a unicorn and that actually it's a relatively common approach. Maybe I'm wrong, but I like to think it's a relatively common approach. Like, I like to think it's a pretty normal kind of take for people in general, right? But hey, I don't know. I'm also kind of very aware of the fact that whatever happens, it's Games Workshop's narrative, and I think one of the things we really kind of need to accept in general as a community, especially, I mean, I've been playing properly since like maybe 5th edition or whatever, right? The narrative has existed for a long time, and the narrative has changed loads. Even the way the Primarchs were created has changed. You know, that's something that has changed fundamentally in lore from when the conception of Warhammer all the way till now. I have always accepted, and I think a lot of us could do with kind of accepting this, that the narrative for Games Workshop isn't a solidified, scribed, never going to change entity. Ultimately, the narrative in Games Workshop serves a singular main purpose, let's be honest, and that singular main purpose is to sell models. And if you accept that, if you can kind of accept that core fundamental at the back of your brain, then I think that, for the most part, when something changes, you go, they clearly think this is going to help them sell more models. That's why they're doing it. It becomes a bit, I think you're able to understand it a little bit more. You know? I think at that point you go, this isn't them trying to necessarily force a culture on us, because I'm against it when that happens, I'll be honest. This is about them trying to sell more plastic. That's what they're doing. All they fucking care about is selling plastic. They don't care about upsetting you. And I genuinely believe this. I genuinely believe they don't care about pushing a political agenda. They don't care about upsetting you. They don't want to upset you. Of course they don't want to upset you, because they want you to spend more fucking money. All they want you to do is spend more money. They want you to buy more plastic soldiers. And if you're buying more plastic soldiers, they're making more money. That's it, right? You know what, Liam? You got yourself a sub because you don't sound like a fence sitter, but you genuinely don't care. Just want to try it and be reasonable. I just want humans to be good to each other, Mr. Lackey. That's kind of it. I just want people to be good to each other. I've said this before. I'll say it again. It's never going to happen. I think that if every single human being in the world did try to do one good deed a day, the world is just a better place. It's just a better place. I try and do something nice for someone every day. Whether that's a compliment, a comment, it can be just some words, right? It could just be you've done a good job today, mate. Well done. If you try and do something good, if you try and do a good deed and something nice every single day, every single person did that, the world is just a better place. And we live in a world and a realm of kind of constant negativity and bad news and doomsaying and because it's what sells, it's what spreads, it's what people watch, it's what people engage with. I get it. I understand why companies do it. But that's what we live in, and I'm trying to. I won't make a big difference in my little corner of the universe, but I try and make a bit of a change and try and put a positive spin. And I'm a person who I'll call a cunt, right? When Games Workshop do something that I don't agree with, really fundamentally don't agree with. You guys have seen it if you've watched the channel for long enough. I've come on stream before. I've been on stream before with Joe looking very fucking uncomfortable because the company that sends us free shit that we are a previewer for, that we were previously playtesting for, have done something I don't, and I'll come out and I'll tell you that this is fucking bullshit and I don't like it. I don't like it. Because the day that I stop giving you my genuine opinion is the day I lose integrity, and I fucking value that higher than so many other traits. Right? So I am not a Games Workshop shill. They cannot do anything and I go, well done mates, well done lads, it's great. I've never been that person. I never will be that person. But I also think that when people are just being flat fucking intolerant for the sake of it, you kind of took a look at your own problems, if I'm honest. But hey, that again. There we go. There's a little rant on this issue because I'm not. By the way, Mr. Lackey, thank you for becoming a member. I'm not at all surprised that Reddit has turned into a toxic cesspool and it's lost its mind. I just don't get it. Who's intolerant now aside me? They did, I don't know if you saw the reveal show, Kai, but they revealed brand new Custodes for Horus Heresy. They brushed over using the pronoun her for a shield captain, which is fine. And they brushed over it quite quickly. They clearly felt they had to say it. I'd imagine they were told they had to say it. They didn't linger on it, and I think that's probably the right move. They didn't linger on it. They didn't force it down your throat. They just brushed over it. They just put it in the sentence, which I think is the right way of dealing with it at the moment, right? But fucking the internet's lost its mind already, you know. But being flat fucking intolerant goes both 100%. It goes both ways. 100% it goes both ways. Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. 100%, without doubt. I do good every day. My partner's name is Good, though. Are you telling fibs there, Whitey? Did you see on the Custodes Warcom post that because this will be getting a new codex this year after 11th launch towards the bottom of the post? I didn't know. I will tell Joe. He should be back in next week. I didn't even hear them say her. I was too busy looking at the pretty models. They brushed over it. I think it was the right way of addressing it. I do. I think if you linger on it, they'd have got criticised. I think if they'd have accentuated it and lingered it, they'd have got criticised. So I think it's the only way they can kind of do it. And you just normalise it. And I think if you normalise it and you kind of just go, yep, cool, this is a thing now, then for the most part, most people will get over the way it was introduced. I'm over it. I'm annoyed by it, but I'm over it, if that makes sense. I think that kind of makes sense. And then you go, yeah, cool. It's the thing now. Fine. I'm going back to Airfix. Less drama. Honestly, amazing. The live stream chat went nuts, did it? I wasn't looking. I don't deal well with super fast live stream chats. There's 250 people watching right now, right? If every single person wrote a comment right now and chat goes, brr, I struggle with it. I fucking, it's a bit overwhelming.
We have fought side by side, and if the gods will it, I'm ready for Valhalla.
I didn't catch them say her. It talked about her hair. It talked about the if you go back and watch it, they talked about the laurel reels in her hair. But I think, honestly, Escape, I think that's good. I think the fact that we're not like focusing in on it is probably a good thing, but you know. Here's the thing, right? Do I have a problem with female custodians? No. Do I think that we may do I think that I will build them that way with mine, which I'm fucking doing, by the way, chat? Probably not, if I'm honest. But it's just a preference. If I then come up against someone who's done it and leaned into it quite heavily, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, fuck it. I'm like, cool army, mate. Your stuff. Go for it. You know. Anyway, I am Duty Dad tonight. We're now well into the show. We are actually officially 2 hours and 24 minutes into the show, which means I'm going to give us another 5 minutes to get to 2.5 hours. I'm going to go because I've got to do the kids' supper because they should have had it 40 minutes ago, but I'm busy talking to you people and Luce is out for the night on the drink. So I'm going to give you another 5 minutes. If you've got anything you want to say, chuck it in comments now, stick it in super chats quickly, and we'll address it, obviously. But then in 5 minutes, we're going to go, and we'll break for the weekend. Monday stream, just for reference, right? Monday stream is not a definite, and I'll explain. Don't shoot me. But Monday is my eldest's birthday. He turns 13. So at the moment, we're going out for food at 4 p.m. And depending on what he wants to do afterwards will depend on whether there is or isn't a show, right? So if he wants to come home and watch a film as a family or whatever he wants to do, we'll do that. I suspect what's going to happen, because I know him and he's going to be a teenager, is he'll come home and he'll want to go and sit in his room and chill out and play with his new birthday present and chill out, and that'll be it, right? If that's the case, there'll be a stream. There'll be a show. Guaranteed, right? If that's the case. So keep an eye on Discord. I'll let you guys know. But there's every chance I might not do one. I'm trying. I've missed so many fucking birthdays over the last few years that I'm trying not to now. And I'm trying to also take some mental health time with building this shop, right? Trying to. So I'm gonna have the day with him. I say that. I've got to be at work at 8 a.m. to hand over the keys for the electricians to get this fucking shop finished. But apart from that, I'm not working on Monday. And then if I'm not streaming on Monday, we'll be back as normal on Tuesday game. There might not be a Tuesday day stream either. It sucks and I can't afford not to, but we also have the shareholders and directors of Hobby House turning up on Wednesday. And I need to make sure the place is tip top and in good shape for them to turn up, right? So, you know, there's a possibility there's no Liam and Joe show. That being said, Joe now I think is going to be okay to come to work. So maybe there was a Joe and someone show in the daytime, but I'm not sure. Any news on the invite day dates? They're bumped. We have done this on stream before. I'll say it now to you. There's 250 people watching right now. They're bumped to the 13th of February. There's nothing we can do. The electricians aren't going to be finished on Friday. They're not going to be finished in a week's time. They'll be close to finished, very close to finished, but they're not going to be finished in a week's time. So we can't open. We won't be ready, and we won't be safe. And I won't open a shop that's not safe. So we've had to bump it. The weekend after then is still too close. Like it was within a week of us just getting shit finished. It's too much to get everything cleaned, everything ready, all the stock in, all the drinks in, etc. The week after that, the weekend after that, I think is Beachhead. So it'll be the weekend after that, right? That's the weekend we're going to do it because that one makes more sense. Yes, it's Valentine's Day, but let's be honest, none of you want to spend it with your other halves anyway. You all want to play Warhammer. So bring them down to Southampton for a romantic weekend. Give them some money on the Saturday to go shopping in town because Southampton's good for shopping. Fuck them off. Come and play Warhammer. Right? That's what we're going to do. So, you know. But I'm hoping in my mind that when we do that weekend, we're kind of significantly closer to just flat being open full time. So just clash it with the FA Cup. No one cares about the FA Cup. Literally no one cares about the FA Cup, Ghasty. So, yeah. So 13th, 14th, 15th, right? Come down. Come hang out. And I can't see a world where we're not going to be open to people at that particular time. So, you know. You can't open if not safe. Timmy, you know what ended up sticking his tongue. Well, exactly that. Exactly that, Kai. 100%. Absolutely. You're 100% right. So, there we go. Cool. Right, anyway. You guys have been fucking incredible. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We got to 181 members with 15 pending. YouTube might try and give them out. For those people that, for those 3 people that gifted the last sets of 5, which was, if I scroll all the way down, the last 3 gifts of 5 were Buckshot, Cornet, Ed, and Yeston. Please keep an eye on your accounts, right? Because if they don't give any out at all, you should be refunded the full 25 quid that you gifted. All right. Be safe in the knowledge of if you don't get refunded it, I will have received it. So what YouTube will do now when we shut down for the next few hours, YouTube will still go and try and find people to gift memberships to. And if it successfully finds people and gifts them memberships, then at that point your money will no longer be returned to you, and I will receive the full amount. Even if it gifts one of your members out, I'll receive the full amount. That's how I understand that it works. Okay. So, but if it doesn't give it out, if I don't receive the money, it's pretty fucking good at giving you a refund. Got a refund last time, no issue, says yes. And there you go. Okay. Cool reveal show. Some super fucking cool shit. I'm sorry about it was a bit preachy then. I don't mean for it to be, but I just don't like people being cunts. It really annoys me. Just be nice to people. Just treat other humans like humans. It doesn't matter what they want to be called. Just treat them like a human. And if you're uncomfortable with what they're trying to be called, avoid using it. Just use their name, for fuck's sake. Anyway, it's irrelevant, right? Just people be good to each other. I've had a fucking stressful week. It's been awful. I've been close to fucking breakdown. In fact, I basically broke down a bit on Monday night. And people just need to be good to each other. Stop being fucking arseholes. It's a real simple mantra, I think, for life in general. But the reveal show is really, really good. I think it's exceptionally positive. I went from being a Corsairs player to being a Custodes player in the space of less than an hour. And I think that's going to stick. I don't think that's going to change. In fact, I don't think it's going to change. It's not going to change. Those guard I'm in. I'm buying some of those, at least one box. I will probably buy the big box if I can get my hands on it. I think that covers everything. I think we're done. Like I said, it's a bit weird Monday, Tuesday. I will keep you posted in Discord. I apologise for the everyone spam, but I will keep you posted in Discord. There might be a show on Monday. There might be a show Tuesday lunchtime. There definitely will be a game show Tuesday evening, no matter what. Okay? So from Tuesday evening, we'll go back to normal. I say that, I'm lying, because Wednesday night there's no show because the football's on. You'll figure it out. You'll work it out. All right? You people are incredible. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you haven't already smashed that like button before you disappear, we currently have 200 people watching and 230 likes, so most of you have probably done that already. You're amazing. I love you all. I love the fact that when Games Workshop go, this is a good show, so let's make sure we do it live when Liam can cover it. That's really nice of them, I think. What a lovely thing for them to do. And have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great time. Hopefully we'll see you next week on the streams. Thank you so much for watching. You are, in fact, the best chat. I'll say it, Kalus isn't here. And we'll see you in the next one.